Sadly, this is a forsaken generation. Hear this well, we're not going away. Eyes are opening to the truth. We grow stronger in number as a united force every day. Babies are dying, parents left crying, told that SIDS or coincidence disorder are to blame, parents forced to live with the pain and shame. The once bright smiling faces full of wonder turned vacant stares, families shattered while they also endured the public glares. You're wiping out future generations for your own selfish gain as we form this revolution for liberation and change. We will keep speaking louder and louder. We will not be silenced until there is a shift in power. So stand up, speak out, be brave, be the voice of the voiceless. Too many forsaken lay in their graves. Welcome to Forsaken Generation.
All right, as my daughter Lala Opal says, welcome to Forsaken Generation. It is Monday morning, and it is 11 a.m. here in Alabama, and it's not too cold today. It actually feels pretty awesome outside. And later on in the show today, we will be having guest author and Dr. James Lyons-Weiler. So look forward to that in about an hour. He will be joining me. I am super excited to have him today. I met Dr. Weiler in Atlanta, and he is not only an amazingly knowledgeable, smart man, but is also just a ton of fun, and so is his fiance. They were just amazing people. So I am looking forward to getting to talk with him again today. He is the author of The Environmental and Genetic Causes of Autism, as well as Ebola, an Evolving Story, and Cures versus Profits, Success in Translation and Research. So you can check all those books out. I'm sure you can find all of them on Amazon, same as I did, other than one of them I actually got in person from him, but the rest I got from Amazon. So I know they're all there. But anyway, oh goodness, it has been a crazy morning. I am a little frazzle-dazzled because I spent most of my morning trying to get on to the studio to run my show today. So for some reason I've been having a lot of problems with Blog Talk lately, and trying to get Blog Talk to work right and let me into the host tools and my studio to run my show. And so right at the very last second I actually got into the studio. So just been a little bit of a crazy morning trying to get in there, and I don't know what's been going on with that. It's been like this off and on for a couple weeks now, but I did reach out to the station owner, so we'll see if that helps anything. It's very weird to me. It's usually a little bit easier to get the show going. Excuse me if you hear that sound. That's because I'm drinking my caramel coffee. I buy my coffee at the grocery store, but I like it. I get the Starbucks kind, and it is very, 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 very good. So if you hear that sound, that is me. Anyway, you are listening to Forsaken Generation. As I said, I am your host, Lynette Marie Barron. You can find me on Facebook. You can find my show on Facebook under Forsaken Generation Radio Show. Thank you for coming on over, tuning in today. It's going to be a good show. I do want to address something that happened this past week, which I am mind blown over, and I shouldn't be, but I guess I just you always want to hope that the world, everybody, you want to hope for the best in people, and for the most part, people are pretty decent. But there's a few out there, every apple tree has a bad apple or two, and there are a few out there who definitely could use a good flogging, in my opinion. Whoever sent Dr. Suzanne Humphreys that email this past week, that is one of the people I believe could definitely use a good flogging. Holy crap, what in the world? Who sends things like that to people? I mean, you really have to be super out there and just really far gone mentally. And it did not sound intelligible in any way. I doubt that I'm the only one who noticed that. I get when you're angry, you say things in a fast manner and you don't really use all your descriptive words, but I don't know. That email just it sounded like something that my younger teenager could have written with their eyes closed. If they were, a crazy person. I mean, it was just like no intellect was needed whatsoever to write that letter. And so that should already tell you what kind of person you're dealing with. And to hear about somebody flying a drone into their yard and the cops still could care less to do anything, it is so sad. I talk to so many people about just stuff in our movement, different things, and how sad is it when they got to do something before the cops will react, before someone can threaten you all they want to, and until they do something, the cops are not going to do anything about it. And sometimes even when people do things, cops still pretty much suck at their jobs, I'm kind of curious why that is, why it's like that. I don't know. There's a bigger agenda out there, and from what I understand from talking to a lot of my friends, it seems that even the police are, a big part of the agenda here, and so, a lot of people still believe that they're just out there to help you, and they're there for you, and whatever, but I don't remember any instance where I've actually needed the help, and it actually have been there when it comes to the police. I know in the past, I haven't really had many run-ins with cops because my life just hasn't really warranted me to. I've been, I try to be a smart person. I try to pay attention to, what I'm up to so that I don't get myself into trouble, and make sure that, I'm living life as right as possible, I guess. So I've only had a few times where I've had cops called. I remember one time getting into a rift with a girl I grew up with, and she was afraid that we were going to get in a fight, so she called the cops to come and be there, because when we were kids, we had gotten into a fist fight, and she was a lot bigger than me, but she did not win that fist fight. And so she was afraid of me because I was definitely less than half her size, but it didn't matter because I had enough, I don't know what you want to call it, but I had enough crazy or something in me that I didn't really care for being messed with. And when you get picked on a lot, eventually you snap. And so, her and her sister picked on me enough to where the point that I snapped. And a lot of us maybe, you go through a lot of things in this movement and you think about, what all we're fighting for and everything we're going through, and it does make you crazy, but we all have each other's backs, and we all treat each other with a very nice amount of respect for the most part. There are a few crazy people peppered in through the group, but there always is, but for something like that to come from the opposition towards some of our warriors is just mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing that, excuse me, it's mind-blowing that somebody would even be dumb enough to do something like that, but to even think of it, to even want to harm somebody for their stance, for their beliefs, for the way that they choose to live life, Suzanne's not knocking on people's doors telling them how they must live. Suzanne's not mandating people don't get vaccines. There's no reason why anybody should have any kind of angst against her, for her, towards her, whatever. Same with the rest of the people in the household over at the Autism Trust. And it's just ridiculous. Everybody, please keep them in your prayers. Keep them lifted up. I have put a GoFundMe page that Dr. Suzanne had sent me over. It is on my Facebook wall. So if you would like to donate to help them get some security over there, If I was capable, I would be over there myself, and I told Suzanne that. If I was capable, if I didn't have these little ones to be taken care of and trying to help, I would be there myself. I would have already made that drive. But unfortunately, I don't have that capability right now financially or physically because I'm needed here in Alabama with my babies. But we can all donate and make it possible for them to have some help. I honestly don't believe this person is brave enough or ballsy enough to mess with anybody. And I pray every day that that is the case. And, we all have to put our lives in the hands of God when we are doing this kind of work. And we have to believe that He holds us and that, that's just where we have to be. You can't do this kind of work if you're walking around scared. And I just lived through a crazy life. And I've learned a lot. And I've learned that living scared is no way to live. And it's good to be free and to live with your soul and be true, be honest, and you'll always be surprised how life goes when you put yourself out there. It can be very scary, but I have learned so much by just trying to be myself and get to know all my fellow warriors. And I got to tell you, when you learn a lot about other people, you also learn a lot about yourself. And this may be, I'm sure this isn't just true for me. I'm sure a lot of you have learned a lot about yourselves while you have been getting to know our fellow warriors and this movement and what we are fighting for. So, I find it all to be a very spiritual growing experience for me. And I don't know if you guys notice, I try my hardest to, unless it's just been a really hard day and that I didn't get to my computer, I try my hardest to post a Bible verse every day. And most of the time I get messages of people telling me it is the verse that they needed to hear, and that, it's something that something had been weighing heavy on their heart. And whatever verse I came up with seems to be the verse that, they needed, or whatever the case may be. So I'm glad that God can impression on my heart the right things and the right words that others also need to hear. Because for me, it's just the one that pops out to me. It's the one that makes me go, wow, that really does speak to the day that I've had, or to the week that I've had. Or, maybe it makes me think of somebody else. I've had some that have made me think of Austin Bennett, the fellow that is running for Senate in California against Senator Richard Pan. And I've had days like the other day, I had one that made me think of Dr. Suzanne. It's just the way it goes. Sometimes things just pop in your head. And I feel like God always gives me the right one, and it seems to be the case because, like I said, I get so many messages of people saying, thank you for what you shared. So everybody just keep your heads up. This is a hard thing to do. This is not easy. It is not easy to fight for truth. It is not easy to be a truth warrior. It's not easy in any way, shape, or form. It is about the furthest thing from easy that I have ever encountered. I've been through growing up in group home. I've been through 2 injured kids, possibly actually more injured kids, just not something I understood when I was younger with my older children. Been through the ringer, and I got to say, being a part of this movement and fighting with all your might to try to bring change is definitely the hardest thing I have ever done. And because there's just nothing that fully prepares you to be this person. There's nothing that, it's just so hard. You are constantly learning, constantly reading. I know for me, it causes my marriage a lot of problems, me just being an activist, me just wanting to learn more, wanting to reach out and talk to people like Dr. Weiler, Dr. Hooker, Dr. Suzanne, wanting to feed my brain. Some people in the world are just survivalists. Some people see things as, care about your own. That's all you should care about. And, everybody else needs to do the same. I've just never been that kind of person, and I don't know if it was just growing up in the group home or, just being around a continuous flow of kids all the time and always having, your needs were never the only needs that were, of course, important. And so I don't really know, what made me the way that I am. But for me, I feel like if I can do something right and if I can figure something out, or even if just something simple that I say helps somebody make it through a day, I feel like I'm doing the right thing. And caused me a lot of grief through time and pain, and that's okay because I think about all of our children and the pain that they've suffered, or those parents out there who have lost children, and the insane amount of pain that they go through. And all of a sudden, my problems seem very minuscule, and my life seems very proportionate again. And I know that every little thing that happens in our lives is for reasons. Everything. Everything that we're going through, everything, down to the things we think, down to every little thing. I really believe that they all happen for a reason. And we're on these paths that are ever crossing and ever winding and taking us different places. And it's amazing to see how we all touch each other's lives and how well, we work together. And it's just neat. It's wonderful to stand beside people like my friend that's coming on today, Dr. James Lyons-Weiler, and so many friends that I have that are in this movement who don't give up and who keep fighting for change and who keep finding that information and sharing it. And, it's nice to be friends with such smart people. I got to tell you, while reading Dr. Weiler's book, it's been quite interesting to me. I have learned a lot, and I have learned a lot of words that I probably never would have seen anywhere else in my lifetime. I told you guys I have my teenage daughter, Lala and Opal. She has been reading some of the chapters to me out loud while I would make product for filling orders and things. And it would be so funny to me because she would keep stopping and leaning over and putting her finger under the word and showing me the book, waiting for me to tell her. And I'm like, when I know the word and she doesn't, that's definitely a big moment for me because she's very smart and she reads nonstop. So that also tells you Dr. Weiler, he is a very smart man. And I got to say, it's so funny because when meeting Dr. Weiler in person and hanging out, we all went and did some karaoke, and me and Dr. Weiler, his fiance, Tia Severino is the one who set it all up, and then we had her friend Stacy there, and Del Bigtree, Jimmy. Oh goodness, it was several people. Miriam, Liza Katu. We just had a good little group of our people. And James was there, and I got to say, I love James Lyons-Weiler, you guys. If you have not had a chance to meet him, you are missing out. Big old sweetheart, and very, very smart man. And it's funny, my point to this is he is such a silly guy, you would not expect the brains that come behind that silliness. I got to say, floored by his knowledge and his ability to hold it all in and absorb so much. And he is just a very smart man. So looking forward to picking that brain in a little while. And if you have not checked out his books, you definitely need to do so. You can find those on Amazon Prime. One of the things I've always made sure I do is keep plenty of literature at hand. It is nice to be able to refer back to it, and you never know when you're going to need those things. I actually highlight a lot of stuff in the books I have and outline a lot. Okay, sorry. And that seems to help me some. Sorry, y'all, I got to stretch. Oh, goodness. Oh, it's a long night. Oh, when you're an autism parent, you don't get a lot of sleep, so, it's a little rough sometimes. And I set my alarms pretty early to get up on days like today and get back here, get in my right mindset, and get ready for the show. And my computer, I'm lucky I'm even able to be on the show today. My computer, it almost didn't let me in my dashboard, my studio. And then, oh goodness gracious, y'all. And then after that, my Facebook page, where I'm trying to get y'all's questions loaded up to make sure I have them up when Dr. Weiler comes on. My Facebook is now just doing the spirally loading continuously. So if you're on there and you're shooting me anything right now, it might be a minute before I can respond to you. I do appreciate anybody listening into the show. I know we have a lot of regulars, like my good friend Lou Drago. I know Lou is continuously listening in. My good friend Jeff Wagon, Linda Cantrell, Rachel Williams. I know we get a lot of people who listen week after week. I know Mary Pules Kavanaugh, Marianne Puckett. There's just so many people, and you're all just amazing, amazing people. And such great warriors, and thank you for listening to my babble and hanging out. I know I wish the guests were earlier in the show because I'm sure you guys would get less bored listening to me, but I do try to keep it interesting as I possibly can. And I do appreciate every single one of you who, excuse me, listens in and asks questions and lets me know you're here. Mindy and Retha and Jonathan Mosley, Jennifer, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the show. You all mean a lot to me, and I am always here, and if you ever need me, I am a phone call or a message away. So always know that. If you're ever bored and you would like to be a part of the show, you can call in to 319-527-6208 and be a part of the live show and have a conversation with me. That is my absolute favorite thing. I love it when my warriors call in and talk to me, especially this first hour of the show. It's always nice to talk to fellow warriors and get some other perspectives and all that good stuff. I've had a lot of warriors call our show in the past, and it's always nice to talk to you. If you're somebody out there who's listening in who is a first-time listener to the show and, you don't really know much about the topic of vaccination or autism or the fact that our nation is the highest rate of infant mortality in the civilized nation. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Our children are so sick, and our adults are so sick. And the sad part is I think that our adults are now outliving our children, and this should not be the case. You should not bury your child. Everybody out there, we all expect to outlive our kids. And or our kids to outlive us, excuse me. We don't expect to outlive our kids. We don't expect them to, get something from some kind of needle poke or something. That's ridiculous. That's insane. But if you think about it, injecting your child with something in a needle is insane. How that ever became a common practice is like mind-blowing for my mind. When you really do stop and think about it, I mean, it's just not normal. It's not a normal thing by any means. So how everybody is so brainwashed into believing this is normal, I don't know. But, we've got a lot of people out there who are doing the work and doing the science. And Dr. Weiler is one of those people. He is a CEO and director of the Institute for Pure and Applied Knowledge. It's amazing because they conduct research in public interest, no profit motive. No profit motive. That is a very, very important thing. No profit motive. Because as we all know, the FDA, the CDC, a lot of these doctors like Pan and Offit and all these people, they have profit motive. They have conflict of interest and profit motive. And so to know that there are scientists out there who are doing the work and figuring things out and putting out the research, it's just amazing to me because we need them people. We need more people like Dr. Weiler out there. And like my guest last week, Dr. Hooker, if you missed last week's show, please go back and listen to last week's show. You are not going to want to have missed it. So go look at my wall on Facebook at Lynette Marie Barron, or you can find it even easier by punching in Forsaken Generation Radio Show. So just check either one of those pages out and you can find last week's show. And yes, I had someone tell me, drink my coffee, I sound tired. I am very tired. I am always tired. I am sitting here chugging my caramel Starbucks coffee right now, and it is getting cold because I don't drink it as fast when I'm, of course, having to talk and carry my conversation all by myself. Oh, get me a few sips in. I'm sure y'all don't mind. I know you guys are sweethearts out there. Oh, my goodness. I don't know if my good friends are listening in this week. Stacy and Edmund Wyatt, if you are, I know you usually are. Have an amazing Monday up at work, and thank you for listening in. I love you guys. It's always nice to have your buddies listening in, so got to give them a shout-out. Let them know you appreciate them. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, y'all. I'm having a hard time getting comfortable today. It's just been one of those kind of weeks, having a very, very hard week here. And got a lot of wholesale going on. Dr. Dale Brown, if you're out there listening, I'll get you all that stuff together for you. Sorry, man. It's been a crazy week. I have so many things that I'm working on, and just wowza. So, yep, my brain is definitely full right now. Oh, let me see here. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire, y'all. Oh, what's up, Lou? I knew you were listening, my friend. I love my friend Lou Drago, y'all. I know most of y'all know who Lou is and her son, Mick. Mick is so adorable. I absolutely love that child. Every picture she posts of him, I just want to go give him the biggest hug. I can only imagine. I'm sure her life is probably about as interesting as mine. It's interesting when your children are such little sweethearts, and they are so interesting. And Mick is one of those children. He is just such a cool kid, and you can tell. I mean, down to his taste in music and things like that, he's just an adorable, adorable child. So I always love knowing that my buddy Lou is listening in. Lou is an amazing warrior, and not only is her son dealing with Down syndrome, he is also fighting with autism and going through seizures as well. And it is just a rough ride for a lot of these families. And it is nice to have the support and the friendship and the camaraderie that we all have with each other. And knowing that we all have each other's back. And, you know, it's just something that you don't find that anywhere else. I've never had a support system like I have in this movement. This is like a family, like something I've never known. And I love every single one of my warrior friends, and I think they all know that. People always know y'all message me all hours of the day and all hours of the night, and I will be here. And I'll absolutely love talking to y'all. And I always worry when I see somebody's in the hospital or somebody's going through something. I keep you guys in my prayers. I keep your children in my prayers and your strength in my prayers, because I'm living this life as well, and I know how hard this is. And it's not fun a lot of the days. Some days are magical. Some days are seriously your child, you couldn't have had a better day. You couldn't have been around a sweeter person. And some days are so hard that you wish you didn't even have gotten out of bed that day, you know what I mean? But that is this life, and that is the life of most regular people too, on top of being parents of vaccine injury. That's just something that's added extra as an extra weight for us to carry, and just makes our load a little bit heavier and the journey a little bit harder. But honestly, I got to say, I'm curious if it doesn't make the rewards at the end a little bit sweeter too. Because for me personally, I know with my kids, every milestone, every little thing that they do, especially with Jazzy being autistic and having the issues she does. You really do appreciate every little thing more than anything else that you've ever known. It's a weird, weird feeling because your children who developed typically or neurotypically or however people want to say it, you take those things for granted. You take those little milestones for granted. You just expect them to come, they go. Such is life. On to the next one, and the years go by, and the child is grown, and bam, you blinked, and it's over. And for these children now that we're raising that are injured, it is a whole different ball of wax to me. It is a whole different thing. It is crazy to me. Every accomplishment is amazing. It's like tenfold to what it would have been because, oh my God, my child's going to get their driver's license this year or just got their driver's license. And imagine I never even knew if they were going to be able to walk or to be able to keep going or if they were going to be paralyzed or, if their body was going to be able to handle it strength-wise to even be able to drive a car, or whatever the case may be, a child just finally said a word or got their hair cut without going insane or, there's so many different instances for every family. We all have different things that are our everyday that we go through. Or we made it through a day without a ton of seizures or whatever, every little thing that you go through. Oh my goodness, they used a piece of silverware. I'm still waiting for that one with Jasmine, but I know it'll come. But you get so excited, and it's just something you take for granted with every other thing in life. You just don't look at the small things the same way you do with your injured kids. And so I think that in a way, our eyes are opened even more than we realize, and we are so lucky to have been woken up. I know I'm lucky. I hate my children are injured. I hate that's what had to wake me up. I wish that it had been somebody just telling me and me knowing and me listening, and that's how I would have made it to this conclusion. Unfortunate, that is not the way that this went down, and somebody had to get hurt for me to understand it, and it sucks, and for a lot of people that's the way it is. And I just pray that we could put a stop to this before we are hitting that 1 and 2 because we are getting very, very close. We are walking a very thin wire at this point. When they say 1 in 35, 1 in 36, those numbers are not true. Those are not true, accurate numbers because they are only counting children from 3 to a certain age. So, number one, that already counts out my child. How many of you out there are your children counted out as well because they haven't made it to the age of 3 yet, but they have the diagnosis? It's not 1 in 36. It's even more than that. And it's insane to think of how fast that number is rising. The only reason they don't count the 2-year-olds is because they don't want you to know that it's even higher than it is. They don't want you to know that we're going to make it to 1 and 2 way before 2032 like first predicted, or 2024 is later predicted. The number's going to keep scooting up until, hey, it's right next door. We're already sitting at 2018 right now, and still nobody's put a stop to this. That's the part that's insane to me. That's the part that I can't understand. How can there be no end to this? How can our president understand that this is a problem and nothing happened? I get there are hoops and loops and things you have to do and orders you have to do things, whatever. There as many things as he has accomplished in the short amount of time he has been in office that some mattered, some were just out of butthurtness over Obama being, there before, in my opinion, whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. But how in the world could you say, I've seen children in my building, normal children, cognitively there. They go get their MMR shot, come back. They're a whole different kid. Put that on your Twitter. How can you say, I've never had the flu shot? Or that I've never had the flu, but didn't get up, never had the flu shot. How can you say those kind of things and then everybody knows you know the truth about it and then do nothing? Do nothing. Our president met with Kennedy. Kennedy's definitely putting the facts out there. I've got a little hard drive from the Mercury Project, and I'm dying to go live and just share this thing. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. It's the only reason I haven't. But it's got some amazing information on it, just amazing. And everybody needs to be sharing these things with the people in their, the offices around them and in their states. You need to go share this stuff with your representatives, with your senator, with your governors. Everybody needs to hear this information. The only way we are ever going to be loud enough to create the change is to go and make the change ourselves. That is the way that this works. Well, guys, I'm going to have to take this to a quick commercial break so that I can help Freedomizer pay these bills. Y'all know how this goes, so just hang in there. I will be right back.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to talk to you about our newest sponsor, Misty'sGardens.com. Now, this is a contraption where you can grow food in your apartment, in a small patio, or if you're like me and you absolutely suck at gardening, this makes life a lot easier. It is a vertical tower garden where you can grow over 20 things at once in a small, compacted area. Good health starts with good habits, like eating wholesome foods, and with tower gardens, you can easily grow your own fresh, nutrient-rich food virtually anywhere, year-round, without soil. So, Misty'sGardens.com, have a look at it, check it out, buy it, plant, and like it. Misty'sGardens.com.
Get ready for the epic new documentary adventure ride of your life. Shade the Motion Picture. Hub you into the globalist domain and embellish Burma's film.
Nothing in this world works the way you think it does. Nothing. Governments do not operate the way you think they do. Banks do not do what you think they do. The police department is not here for what you think it is. Nothing in your world works the way you think it does.
We are here to let them know that their world government has been identified, and they thought they'd implode the world economy to bring in a worldwide police state, but instead, it's going to bring them down.
You have to stand up, speak out.
Shade the Motion Picture. Order your copy of the DVD today at ShadeTheMotionPicture.com. You know the Constitution like the back of your hand. You've
so I keep on trying to. I'd like to retain as much of this book as possible. So I keep on going back, reading a lot more stuff. But, yeah, one of the things it does say in here, avoiding fevers and pregnancy is something very important. So that already lets you know women should not be getting their vaccines while pregnant, which you shouldn't be getting them when you're not pregnant, but getting them when you're pregnant is just ridiculous. I have learned firsthand what happens when that is the case. Known risk factors. Oh, man, see, there's microbiomics. See, lots of interesting stuff. Oh, my goodness, yeah. I made it I'm about a fourth way from the back now of this one. I've got so many books I'm always reading at once. You guys know how it goes. I have a show every week, and a lot of times I do have authors on. And so I like to try to read as many books as I can. Now, luckily, I bought this book from Dr. Weiler himself in person in Atlanta. So I have had this book for a couple months. So I was lucky enough that I already had this book and was already reading it before I actually asked Dr. Weiler to do my show. So it feels weird calling him Dr. Weiler, honestly. But that's just because I see him as my buddy. But he is one cool guy. And I got to say, I was kind of surprised. I'm probably more prudish. I don't look like I would be, but I'm probably more prudish than a lot of people are. And it's funny to me that, like when we go out, like everybody just, Tia dancing all over the place, and, Stacy and that, I mean, people just dancing with strangers and just, being silly as they could be. And you could tell Dr. Weiler and his fiance were having a really good time. And, it was just funny to me because I'm so, quiet. I'm just sitting there off in my chair by myself the whole time. And then I get up and do the one song and then sit back down and be quiet the rest of the time, it's just so weird to watch the difference. I'm not one to really, move around or dance in public. I think I was that girl that, stood with all her friends and held their purses while they all danced around me in circles, I wasn't the one who was doing all the dancing. I'm such a weird person, but I don't know. I can bust a move at home by myself, y'all, just so all y'all know, for real. I can definitely bust a move up in here, but in public, no way. I'm afraid my dance moves are probably something straight from the 80s and I just don't know it. And then I'll dance in public and everybody will just stop and start laughing or something. Keep all that to myself at home. Oh my goodness. Just because y'all know y'all needed to know that about me. And don't worry, I don't dance in the shower. That is too dangerous. I know I would slip. I do sing in the shower. I definitely sing in the shower, but I don't do any dancing in the shower. It's too dangerous. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. So anyways, I don't know what everybody is doing out there today. Hopefully some of you are tuning into the show. At least you will be in 15 minutes. I never mind if you skip the first hour. I know it is boring. I'm sorry, but I just can't get these guests on and keep them on for 3 hours. 2 hours I feel like is asking enough. So, sorry if you get stuck listening to me for a little bit, but hopefully I'm entertaining enough for you. Got a friend out here locally named Denise. Denise Brasher, if you're listening. I can't wait to see pictures of the baby. She is, her mother works with Leo, my husband, and she is going to have a baby soon. And I met her. She is young, but I met her, and she had come over and butchered a couple of pigs with Leo, and going to have a baby any day now, and she is not vaccinating. And when we first met, she thought I was crazy about vaccines. I remember actually receiving a Facebook message after she left here, and it said, "You're crazy, vaccines don't cause injuries." And so, I just told her what had happened to both my girls, and so I was very frustrated after that for a little while. And then, now she is having a baby this coming up very soon, and she is not vaccinating because of us remaining friends and talking, and her seeing all of my posts and seeing all of you guys' stuff and all of your things that I share of yours that you post. So thank you for everything you guys are sharing and posting. And one more baby saved, you guys. One more child that's not going to be poisoned. And it's so amazing to know that people are listening. People do care. And you know, even if you know, we need to get to these younger generations. We need to we really need to be talking to these younger kids that are about, you know, coming up and having children. And it's very important to me that we reach, like, she's part of the Future Farmers of America, and I think that's how she ended up wanting to come over here and slaughter some animals and things like that and learn. I would say learn, but she was more learned than we were. She actually, I think, taught my husband more about the process than he knew, and kind of made me laugh because I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a city girl, and I'm just happen to be in the country. That's kind of the way this worked out. I am not slaughtering pigs. I'm not putting my hand in a pig. I'm not digging around in there. I'm not doing that. You know, some people can do it. Women, if you're one of the women who can do it, kudos to you. But it is definitely not for me. So yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. I love definitely the taste. It's way better. The food is so much better when it's farm fresh. But I don't want to be the one to do the nasty part. I'm sure a lot of you agree with me. I'm not crazy. Oh man, just so much stuff. Lou Drago, thank you, my friend. She told me I sang beautifully. Thank you. That was a lot of fun. If you ever have a chance to get out and do karaoke, it is a lot of fun. And even if you don't think you can sing, it doesn't matter. Just letting loose is a good old time. So I've been singing most of my life, thanks to the group home I was raised in. We did a lot of singing in churches and whatnot for donations because we were not government funded. And so I grew up. And when I was 4 years old, I remember singing, and everybody kind of freaked out. And I was like, why is everybody freaking out? It's just singing. And then the more I sang, the more people freaked out, the more I realized, oh, okay, I think I might be good at this. And that's a great feeling because I didn't really have much, you know. So I had that to hold on to. And then people started telling me, God gave you your singing voice because he took away everything else. And he gave you this one amazing thing. And so I loved singing. I loved just expressing myself that way. So thank you, Lou. You know, it's something that I don't get to do anymore. That was the first time I've sang in probably a little over 6 years. It's something I just don't get to do anymore. And I used to do it a lot, and I miss it because it's a very healing thing for me. You know, that song is a song that's very close to my heart, and I feel every word of that song. So I'm sure if you heard that, you could tell. When we went live and did that, I'm sure if you were listening in or anybody that heard it afterwards, you could tell my heart was in it because it's something I feel. It's been a hard life. So if you can get out there and have fun with your peeps, as we call them, get out there and do that. It's a good time. Don't go home. My buddy Alan Phillips went home, and I know he regretted it afterwards. He said, man, I went home to my son and my cat, and I should have went out with y'all. I said, I know, buddy. I told you. It would have been nice to have him go with us. But, yep, I get it. We all have a lot of commitments and things we have to do, and a lot of us don't get out. That was the first time I've been out or away from home in Brad's long, in probably over 6 years. I haven't ever been away from home. So it was weird, but it was much needed. And it was a lot of fun. Get out there and meet your warriors, do these events, and talk to people in person. You'd be surprised at how amazing they are and at how you click. And it is a big difference than just talking on the internet to me. Seeing people is just a small little circle picture versus meeting them in person and getting to know them, especially when you got more than 5 minutes to do so. I loved having the whole weekend to be there with all these warriors because it definitely, you learn a lot. and you get to know people, and that's something that I think it's hard to do when you just get 5 minutes at a rally or something. So, oh goodness. So we're going to have Dr. Weiler call in. He said he'd be, he's got a court thing going on today, so he said he'd have to go out to his car. So God bless him for even sticking with it and doing the show with me today. Let's hope that it all works out okay for him. He should be calling in about 6 minutes or so. I'm going to go to commercial break in about a minute, and then we'll have Dr. Weiler join us hopefully in about 6 minutes or so. So anyway, so y'all can look forward to that, and this conversation shall get a whole lot more interesting because I will not be talking to myself anymore. If you do radio or if you've ever done anything like this, you realize it is a little bit rough because you are just sitting here talking to yourself. And thank you for anybody who talks to me on Facebook and says things. You not only inspire me, but you also help me have content, which is nice because coming up with an hour worth beforehand is hard. And sometimes, like what happened with Suzanne, and then with the threat with Colton Barrett passing away, different things like that. There is more things to, of course, touch on. But I always want to be thankful for all of you out there listening and for caring, and for those of you messaging me right now, putting a smile on my face. I appreciate you too, so thank you. And it's nice to have people out there, and all of us need to have each other's backs and remember that. And remember, I keep seeing division. Let me touch on this real quick before I go to commercial break. I want to touch on this real quick because it's been driving me freaking insane. I got to talk about this. Austin Bennett, I love you, friend. I really do. But slow down. Take a step back and look at what's going on. Joshua Coleman is going to do whatever Joshua Coleman's going to do. These other people that you called out, they're going to do whatever they're going to do. I don't even remember their names because I was so disappointed by that point in the feed that I couldn't even think anymore. Whew. You had it, and I'm scared that you may not anymore. And I really hope that you take it back. Don't let these people get in your mind. Don't let these people get in your head, my friend. Please don't. Please don't. Just remember, forgive and forget. Move on. All that matters is your message of how you're going to get in there and what you're going to do, and you backing that up and you doing it. You debating people who have nothing to do with you making it into the office of Senate is ridiculous to me. You talking to people on other topics is on the chemtrails and things, that's great. That's awesome. But seriously, when it comes to arguing with fellow people in the movement, number one, everybody else listening to me out there, I love everybody in this team. I'm part of the Backs team. I'm a Peeps TV host. I have not got to get live on the actual thing, but I am part of that movement. I'm part of, dealing, I'm friends with everybody in that. Thank you, babe. And, but I would never, I don't know, you don't look so much to everybody for their opinion, for what they're doing, for, what they're up to. Worry about what you're doing. Worry about what you're up to. Don't worry about what Joshua Coleman is up to. Don't worry about what Polly Tommy is up to, what Suzanne's up to, what any of these people are up to. Worry about what you're doing. Worry about your own self, what you're doing to make a difference. It is very important. It really doesn't matter. Any of this other stuff, that small stuff that's on the wayside, it's just distraction. It really is. It's just distraction. It's causing division. It's causing problems. All that stuff needs to be left by the side. Be your own hero. Don't look so much to the dang Backs team for every little thing. Yes, follow the feeds. Yes, watch the shows. But get out there during the daytime and talk to real people. We try to do it all the time. And it's very important to not just do your advocating on the internet. And Austin, I love you, my friend. I don't mean to call you out, but you needed to be called out. You have got to slow down, my friend, or as they say, slow your roll. You are losing supporters because you are letting your emotions get the best of you to your feeds. I used to look forward to them. When I saw them pop up, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them because I learned something from them. And lately it felt like hissy fits. That is not okay. Come on, my friend. Don't let them get to you. Don't let them pull you to their level. come back up, dust that pretty suit off, and straighten yourself out, and let's get back to the issues. That being said, hopefully, y'all know me. If I ruffle feathers, I ruffle feathers. It's not my intentions. I just feel like somebody's got to say these things, and I am not afraid. I try to put a stop to things when I see them happening. There's been so many times that division has been started in this that I've hopefully made some sense to somebody and hopefully squashed some things. I could say some instances, but I'm going to keep them to myself. But yes, it's nice to be able to make some sense of things. We all see all of this differently, and whoever we vote for is who we vote for. And I'm not even in California. I just care about Austin getting office because I want to know that somebody's in office that's not going to be like Richard Pan and always be trying to take away parents' rights. I got a lot of friends in California, a lot of people I care about quite a bit, and I want to know that hopefully pretty soon they get back to normal and they've got their exemptions back and they don't have to worry about this crap, that their kids can actually go to school. Next thing you know, they're already talking about messing with homeschooling, and that's not okay. I homeschool, and somebody tries to interfere, that's not okay. My little girl's learning things for a couple of years combined because she's so smart that just learning one grade level is not enough for her. I can only imagine how bored she would be if she was in a regular school. I can only imagine. So anyway, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and then I keep waiting and watching, hoping I see that my buddy calling in. I know, like I told you earlier, he has a court thing he has today that he wasn't expecting that came up last minute. So hopefully he'll be able to get in hit my crystal over here. Hopefully he'll be able to get into the dashboard soon, and we will get him on with me. Oh my goodness, my laptop is broken, you guys, and the vent on it is like insanely hot. It's like a sauna burning me. So, all right. So anyway, you guys, I know it's probably been a little bit of a crazy morning up in here, but you are listening to Forsaken Generation. I am your host, Lynette Marie Barron, and you can find me at either of those things on Facebook, and we are now going to help Freedomizer pay these bills. We will be right back.
Vaccines are required for students, employees, immigrants, military members, and international travel. Do you know how to legally avoid them? This is vaccine rights attorney and Freedomizer radio host Alan Phillips. My vaccine exemption ebook can help you avoid the mistakes that have cost others their exemption rights. Get the authoritative guide to vaccine legal exemptions, an ebook available at freedomizerradio.com and vaccinerights.com.
Let freedom ring throughout the land.
You know the Constitution like the back of your hand. You've read books, listened to podcasts, attended lectures, surfed websites, and watched videos. You've made liberty your life's goal, but something seems to be missing. Stickers from LibertyStickers.com. Exercise your freedom of speech with the world's most dangerous bumper stickers. That's LibertyStickers.com. But wait, there's more. You can buy Liberty Stickers wholesale. Get them for 99 cents each when you put 100 or more in your shopping cart in any combination. Sell them or give them away. They're great for gun shows, flea markets, fairs, outreach, and more. Earn extra money, promote freedom, and spread the word. Need custom stickers, labels, or decals for your organization or business? Liberty Stickers makes them. Go to LibertyStickers.com to order or call 877-873-9626. LibertyStickers.com, the world's most dangerous stickers.
You're an activist. You have a cause and an idea, but you also have lots of questions. You need help. After all, teams have coaches, corporations have consultants, and even politicians have campaign managers. But who do activists turn to? The Solutions Institute. We are a collection of professionals and activists from across the political spectrum. Our goal is to teach, motivate, and put all the necessary tools for activism in your hands without charge. Learn more or submit your project at solutions-institute.org.
Get ready for the epic new documentary adventure ride of your life. Shade the Motion Picture. hub you into the globalist domain, and embellish Burma's film.
Nothing in this world works the way you think it does. Nothing. Governments do not operate the way you think they do. Banks do not do what you think they do. The police department is not here for what you think it is. Nothing in your world works the way you think it does.
We are here to let them know that their world government has been identified, and they thought they'd include the world economy to bring in a worldwide police state, but instead, it's going to bring them down.
You have to stand up, speak out.
Shade the Motion Picture. Order your copy of the DVD today at shadethemotionpicture.com.
All right, we are back. You are listening to Forsaken Generation. Our guest is a little bit late calling in at this point, but that's all right. As I said, he is in court, so he was planning on running out to his car and being able to call in today, which I hate. Neither of us knew he was going to be going through this, or we would have just rescheduled for him. So I'm not sure how long he is going to be. Hopefully he will be on the line with me very soon. These things do happen sometimes, unfortunately. We're all very busy people in this movement, and if he is in court, I'm sure it is for a very good reason, so we will just keep it going. I don't know if Jack's in Michigan right now, Lou Drago. I will have to ask him and see when he gets on with me. I thought he was from Pennsylvania, but I don't know where he is. I know he's got that stuff going on today, so I'm not sure exactly where he is. Oh goodness. Everything has just been so much going on, Also, keep praying for, your fellow warriors, everybody. Keep praying for each other. I know we've still got a lot of people who are hurting right now and going through a lot, and we all too soon move on and get to the next thing and the next story and the next case. So just always remember, don't forget those out there who are hurting right now and who just need you to send them your loves and your hugs their way. And to Kathleen Barrett out there, I hope that, as time goes by, I know it's not easy by any means, but I hope that you guys find some form of healing and peace. And I believe that your son's story is going to touch lives for years and years and years to come. So God bless you for even creating Colton. He was one of a kind. Oh, man. Oh, okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm learning things on my Facebook feed from my buddy Lou as I'm doing the show. She's filling me in on what's going on. So always nice. Always good to have good friends. Y'all know it's pretty interesting to me too. Last week I wanted to thank everybody who listened into the show. We had higher numbers than I've ever seen. Looking at Freedomizer, I look at my numbers every week. I look at everybody else's numbers every week on Freedomizer because there's nothing wrong with a little healthy competition, I don't think. And wow. My numbers were fourfold what any other numbers were last week through Freedomizer. So thank you to everybody who came and listened to the show last week. And keep listening in. We have a lot of amazing shows coming up. We have a new coming up next week from the VAX team. I know a lot of you are not going to want to miss that. Anu is one of my good friends, and he is just a sweetheart. And he does a lot for this movement. Not only does he do things for the actual VAX team, but he actually also goes out and does some type of freelancing cameraman type stuff for other warriors and things to help out. So that's pretty cool. I got to see Anu in Atlanta for a second time. I got to see Anu, my first time I met him was in Mississippi. And then I got to see him in Atlanta. And what a sweetheart. Gave me a big old hug. And he treats me more like a celebrity type person than it's weird. He seemed so excited to do my show. He seemed more excited to be on my show than I think anybody I've ever had on the show. So that was, it's cute to me, but it's also just, it made me feel special. So Anu, if you're out there listening, my friend, thank you for being so excited about doing the show. I've had a lot of awesome people on, and I always love getting to hear the stories of people I feel like kind of are the people doing a lot of the work in the background who don't get as much recognition and, definitely deserve just as much as anybody else. So I love getting, I had Coleman on a couple of months back, and I've had Bella and just, a lot of the warriors on. I've got Suzanne coming up in the future. And, so I like to get my fellows on too, but I also have a lot of just, I love talking to parents. I love talking to authors. If you're out there and you have a book on any of this vaccine science or autism or any of these disorders or injuries caused by vaccines, the government, big pharma, any of those kind of things, please reach out to me and let me know. And I would love to have you on my radio show. I'm booked through mid-May. It's okay. We will just keep filling this calendar up. And I can tell a difference in my life. I used to have a hard time sometimes filling up, within a couple weeks, and I'd have a lot of people who would freak out and be scared and then cancel. And now I'm booked for months, and nobody's canceling, and everything's going great. Yes, we're having a little bit of an issue today with my friend being able to call in on time, but I believe it is because he is in court, and such is life, and things happen. And if worse comes to worse, we'll reschedule him if we end up having to. But I am sitting here with not a whole lot to do, and so if you're out there in Warrior Land and you are listening in, call in, talk to me, keep me company for a little bit while I wait on Dr. Weiler. That would be cool. Feel free to call in and talk to me about anything you've seen this week in the movement or any injustice or anything you want to talk about. You can talk to me calling by, sorry, y'all, Lily's in here. My brain is skipping. You can call 319-527-6208 and press 1 to get on the air. I would love to talk to somebody, anybody. It is fun. It is nice to have my buddies call in. And honestly, I've gotten to know several of you through calling into the show, so it's always fun. Oh, my goodness. It has been such a long week over here at my house. When it gets cold like this, the gas freezes up and everything is cold, and the animals are usually miserable, and it's just a little bit crazy. We've had a couple of pigs pass away this season, so that kind of stinks. Don't know what the deal is with them. Some of them are older, and, that's most likely what their issue is. If y'all hear a weird sound in the background, it's because Lily is in here, and she is, Lily, don't do that. Don't tear that up. She is scratching my foam walls, being a bad girl. Such is life when you have kids, and you do this kind of stuff from home. Oh, my goodness. And nobody is paying attention, even though there's several other people here. Anyway, so my brain is definitely super full, and hopefully he didn't forget. That's what one of my buddies said. Yeah, hopefully he didn't forget, but you never know. He messed up yesterday, and he remembered, but like I said, he's got court today, and he said he was going to try to take off to his vehicle during the case or something to do. But that seemed like it might be a little impossible. So who knows? Anyway, Lily, what are you doing? You better get out of Mommy's books. That's an article. Put it back. See? This is what happens when you have kids, y'all. Oh, my goodness. Please leave Mommy's things alone. Please. They're a lot of fun. They can be a pain in the booty, but they're a lot of fun. Lily's crazy. Oh, goodness. So, anyway, let's see here. Let us hope my buddy calls us, because I am getting very boring and we're probably losing a lot of listeners right now because I am running out of things to talk about by myself. Dun, dun, dun. I'm kind of curious about this. It says he's the CEO and director of the Institute for Pure and Applied Knowledge. That sounds like that would be a very interesting job. It will definitely be something I would like to know more about. It seems like you would have access to a lot more interesting data. Dum, dum, dum. All right. Well, I'm sorry I'm so boring, everybody. I just wasn't prepared to still be going on by myself at this point. My child is in here with me, messing with all of my books and my notebooks and my stuff, and nobody is coming for her. So that means I'm kind of going through it right now. It's just the way it goes sometimes. One of those weeks. All I can do is keep sipping my coffee and talking to you and hoping somebody calls in, right? He also is the editor-in-chief at the Journal for Cancer Informatics. So that's something else I was curious about, and the editorial board of cancer research. Because y'all know there's a lot of cover-up when it comes to cancer stuff, too, and medications and treatments and whatever. So I'm kind of curious. I've got a lot of questions about these things, so let's see. Hopefully my buddy calls me. I've messaged him and let him know that we are waiting for him, so I don't know what is actually going on at this point. Oh. Nope, no sign of him yet. Everybody's asking me, nope, no sign of him yet. He still hasn't come into the dashboard. I have no idea. I guess he's just in court, and maybe he forgot. It's very possible. If I was busy in court, I may forget something like this as well, because honestly, this is not nowhere near as important as what he's up to, so it's quite all right. Oh, my goodness. I know we have a decent amount of people who are listening in. I can't tell during the show. I can only tell when I go back and look afterwards. You can see the numbers and things like that. So, hopefully it'll work out and I'll get some, he'll be able to call in soon. I'm just sitting here trying to get Lily to be good because Lord knows she's a crazy girl. Being too bad right now, though. Usually she comes in here with about 20 toys. I think Wallen went back to bed. Wallen is my teenager, and she helps me out here and there, but sometimes she is not in the mood. Dr. Weiler, wherever you are out there, call into the show. Oh, my goodness. Sometimes people get confused because I am on Central Standard Time, so that's been an issue in the past before, too. I say Central Standard Time, but I don't know if a lot of people know what time that is their time. So, who knows what the case may be. Thank you, Lou. I'm looking forward to him getting on here so I can ask him all your questions, my friend. Just kind of one of those days. Things happen. If it's not that interesting, I'm sorry, everybody. You can tune out now and come back and see if he calls in. It's the best I can give you because I don't really feel like I'm going to get much more interesting after this until I have some help here. There is not that much to talk about. There just isn't. If there was, well, I mean, there is, but not on this topic anyway. I got plenty I could talk about, just not on this topic. So, therefore, there is not a lot to talk about. So, I'm trying to. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you, Lou. So apparently my guest for the day is in Michigan at Vaccine Choice. Close that curtain, Lily. It's cold, baby. Let's see here. I'm going to the article that Lou sent me on this where Dr. Weiler is at. Okay. All right, sorry if I'm boring y'all, but it's hard to read and think at the same time, or read and talk at the same time. Dun, dun, dun. All right, well, okay, so who knows? We'll see. Maybe my buddy will call. I don't know. Maybe they must be pretty busy in there. I was looking very forward to today's show because, it's not often, a lot of these people I have on the show are not people I've got to meet. I got to meet, now I'll get to meet several of them by now, but when I first started doing the show, I hadn't met anybody. And so it's nice, finally getting to talk to a lot of people I've actually got to meet and spend some time with. And, Alan Phillips, y'all, he's adorable. He is this little bitty fella, and he is adorable. He's so much fun to talk to, and I don't know. I felt like he might have been a little bit afraid of me. I might be wrong, but I kind of felt like he was a little bit afraid of me. But but he let me hug him anyway, so that's good. But he did a really good show with me a while back. You can always find any of the old shows in the archives of the wall of my Facebook page for Second Generation Radio Show. And that was a good informative show because Alan is the vaccine exemption rights attorney that you hear me playing a commercial for over and over again during my commercial breaks. Alan is a warrior and is a, fighting for the movement. So it's always nice to have people near. He was going to go to school to be a doctor, and then instead learned of the corruption and went to school to be a lawyer instead. So how crazy is that? And for this topic, hold on, let me see what we've got online. Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, this is Suzanne with Mad Scientist. And so I just thought I'd call in and shoot the brief.
Yeah, hey, welcome.
Interrupt what you were saying. I didn't want to interrupt you there.
Oh, no, you're not interrupting me, girl. I'm just sitting here talking on a whim, talking to myself at this point, I feel like. I've got my poor guest. My guest has not been able to call in. He is in Michigan at a court case for a anti-vaccine. I'm trying to go back to the article to see exactly. I know it's one of the, people for vaccine choice in the movement, but I guess they had something happen and they're having to go to court over it. So, it's one of the mothers who doesn't want her children to get vaccinated. I don't blame her, due to autoimmune diseases running in their family. So yeah. So anyway, so I think my guest is being, he's being detained. So thank you for calling in, friend.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, I thought you might be interested in this article that came out yesterday on the Bolin Report, and it says President Trump drops nuclear bomb on vaccine mandates. And he says, wars are won by making political alliances. If our side ever wants to win, we need to understand the simple fact. But it's by somebody, Kent Heckenlively J.D., so it's a lawyer. And it says it essentially he's created a branch of the HHS to defend conscientious and religious freedom, and this author thinks that will apply to the California vaccine mandate, that you can't just wipe out people's religious freedoms, religious exemptions. And it's at thebolinreport.com. And I thought that might be pertinent, that maybe it'll start the ball rolling, because I think that would apply to Mississippi and West Virginia too, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think Mississippi, I know my friend Lindy and a lot of these other women are out there fighting really hard in Mississippi right now to get their religious exemptions back. This has just been something that these should never been taken in the first place. They should have never been. I mean, it's just insane. I don't understand how they can. I mean, what happened to the land of the free? It is an illusion of freedom. I say this over and over again. We have an illusion of freedom. When you can force somebody to inject their children with something or tell them they cannot have an education, we have passed the lines of insanity. I mean, we're already past that. I mean, it's too much, and I mean, we're getting more and more. I do believe that it is population control. I really do believe in that. And people who want to call you crazy ought to look around them at all the sick people out here and everything going on. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
It's intentional. I've been like chaining keeping an eye on a bunch of different sciences together, and it's not just for the money. I think there are some true Satanists at the top of the elite sphere that just want the world population dead. They want them gone. But that's branching beyond science, to agendas. And it's more than money here. It's more than money. And I had a gentle discussion on my Facebook this week with a person I know in real life who happens to be a Jew, and he found a New York Times article. They've got a new shingles vaccine they're promoting, and I got on there. I said, I'm sorry, but there's no way I would inject myself with that. I said, not now we know. There was a study, a scientific study in 1943 that proved that extra vitamin C gets rid of shingles really fast, and so you don't need it. You don't need the vaccine, and because he has this. I mean, this doctor friend. There's a lot of people that just bow to the white coats and say, "Thank you for letting us know, and I'll go get it." And I had this shot last year, and this one's better. Oh yes, and it should be coming out soon. And so I just said, look, there's the science, and I linked to an article that included a lot of references to journaled articles about vitamin C and shingles and the chickenpox and that whole branch of diseases. And somebody says, well, I've had shingles, and trust me, you don't want it. I'm like, well, why should I trust you? He says, trust me, take the shot. And I said, why should I trust you? Who the heck are you? I said, I know what shingles is. My dad had it for months. He was in horrible pain. He couldn't even wear a shirt, so he couldn't go to work. And so after months and months, and this was like he had several bouts of shingles over the course of several years. And finally, his doctor just recommended suicide to him. Now, this is back in the 90s. And that was the last time my mom let my dad see that doctor.
Really.
So fast. And she took him to a Chinese doctor who had him recovered enough that he could wear a shirt for half a day and he went back to work in like less than 2 weeks. It was because just yanked him out of the American medical system. Now he had other issues and he didn't have other mainstream doctors, but when a doctor tells you that, other people choose a permanent solution to this. And you know what? And my question on my doctor's page was like, the research proving that vitamin C helps with shingles has been out there since 1943, and this was in the 90s, so it was before the web when we could look stuff up. But why did this doctor not know that he could help my father anymore? Why did he think he couldn't help him anymore? And I said, you understand the source of my anger at the industry. It's horrible. I was blessed. My kids were healthy except for skin conditions, which I now do tie to the vaccine injuries because it's like right at 6 months. Right. But like, what is it about 6 months that kids break out with permanent cases of severe eczema? So. But I'm blessed that I think that's the only injury they had. Sometimes you can't know. Anyway, So
that's still really frustrating for the child. No injury, big or small, it doesn't matter. It's whatever that person's going through is big to them. And I know eczema is atrocious.
Yeah, he's an adult now and he still has it. So it's
it's
like
so
hands,
itchy.
elbows, and
Pine
and
tar, my
so
friend, pine tar.
Pine tar? Really?
Yes, pine tar. It's something that they originally actually used for wounds on horses, but I make a soap with it and salves with it and all kinds of stuff, and it works. I have lotions with it. It works wonders on psoriasis, eczema, all kinds of stuff. It is insane how well it works.
And you have it on your Etsy?
Yeah,
on
we
your
have the lotion on my Etsy. We have the pine tar lotion on there. We have it with and without the CBD option too, because the CBD will help a little bit more with the pain relief and stuff like that. So, but yeah, we do a lot of stuff to try to just help out. I mean, eczema is definitely a vaccine injury, and it's one of the things a lot of people don't think about that does need a lot of help. And I've had so many parents who have come to us and just, a lot of people looking for something, and then finally this has helped. So I'm thankful we've been able to do that. And our neighbor has psoriasis really, really bad, and he's, old country farmer, real stubborn, and doesn't like to try anything. And he's one of those people, when you give him something, he's, you can't give him you can't give him two different kinds of soap or a honey and a syrup. You can't do that. No. Let me finish the first thing now, and then I'll let you give me something else. So I have to be very picky what I give him to try, because it'll only take one thing for me at a time. And so I gave him, it's hilarious to me. So I gave him this healing lotion that I made, and it's the one on our site. And he was so surprised and said, well, what in the world is in this? And, but we've got pine tar and pine sap actually from the trees here on my property, and a lot of other, amazing things that we make.
I'm looking at one of your products here. Is this the one with the goat's milk in it?
Yes.
Pine tar goat's milk lotion? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And it is amazing. And we have the dairy goats here. They are La Mancha dairy goats, and they are beautiful. I told my husband when the baby was born, I was like, oh my goodness, call somebody from the the registry or something. We've got the perfect unspotted goat here. Too bad it wasn't a calf. Making jokes about we've got the perfect one. Call the people from the Bible.
The biblical. Yeah. I think I was just got a new flock that fits the description. I think there's been a breed
I heard that. I heard
identified.
that. I heard that. I kind of tripped out. It's like, well, alrighty then. But yeah, it's always amazing to me how nature is and stuff when you do a lot more things for yourself. We do a lot more. We have orchards here. We have our gardens. We have all our animals, and it's a very interesting life compared to city life. It's very different, and hearing other people, the way other people live, it's weird to me. And realizing I used to be one of those people, I used to be out there working in the tattoo shops, drinking, 3-4 monsters a day, and then wondering why I have heart attacks and health problems.
Oh, no. Oh.
Well,
yeah, I'm in a townhouse, and when I just moved into it, and my next door neighbor, when I first viewed the townhouse, he was putting in his organic garden and stuff, and he had his little chickens. I'm like, wow, chickens in the townhouse area, and they would follow him up the stairs. They had their little pen on his, and when he was follow him down, and they'd eat the bugs and stuff while he was gardening, and they were so quiet, and they just knew the routine, go up and down the stairs and all that. Well, the HOA made him get rid of them. I was so disappointed. I was thinking, oh, maybe I can buy some eggs, I was so disappointed, but he's still doing. And so I guess they went back. His father has a larger farm, so that's where they went back to. He's got all this gardening stuff, and it's like some of my stuff, my gardening stuff, is still in a locker, 100 miles away, and I got to go get it so I can start, because I'm in Arizona, and so you can do some gardening in the wintertime, and I want to start my lettuces and stuff, and so I got to go get all my pots and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of people that have cured diseases with their organic gardening. I watched this guy John Kohler on YouTube, and he had a bout of meningitis in college, and they didn't know if he was going to live or not. And he decided, I'm going to feed my body right, and I'm going to grow my own food because I get better quality that way. And he's got all these techniques for upping the nutrition and all this. But that guy has been doing his videos for 6 or 7 years now, and it's really obvious he looks younger now than when he started doing his videos because of he eats his own produce and all this stuff.
Yeah,
very, very
awesome.
plainly looks younger. Yeah, so it's like, okay, I'm, because
right?
I was
think I'm gonna
telling
change this
some of the
around.
doctors, yeah, like we know that shingles now is tied to malnutrition if you don't have enough vitamin C in your body. So you can all get your shots if you want, but now you have 2 weapons against shingles. And it's, I didn't want to make a big fight on this page because I actually know this guy in real life, and I have to see him on a regular basis. So in a club that we're both in.
Vitamin C is such an important role. I mean, same vitamin A, we do cod liver oil. That's the flavorless, tasteless one that we give, to our family. And I do the powdered vitamin C and, all kinds of other supplements and minerals and things to try to help keep them boosted. And they don't get sick, really. I mean, every now and then Lily will get sick because she is autoimmune neutropenic, so she does pick up on things way easier than other people. But Jasmine's never sick. I mean, it's just the way it is. She's just Jasmine. But she's never sick with anything. And, I don't seem to really get sick. I end up doing dumb stuff where I hurt myself on accident. And, I have to recoup from things like that. I'm accident prone. I busted my head this past week before. Jasmine hit me in the face with her face and broke my nose, like inside where my cartilage is. And then I broke my tailbone a couple weeks ago. So, yeah. I'm very accident prone. Yeah. If I cook, I burn myself every time.
Well, I guess it bothers me that your bones break so fast. I don't know if there's anything.
Yeah, they're pretty brittle. I don't understand it either. I was talking to my chiropractor about it, and she said the bad part is nothing that I broke recently is something anybody can do something for. She said, it's kind of just you're kind of stuck with it the way it is, and you're going to hurt for a while. And I literally have been sitting on one of those little blow-up donuts. I'm not even kidding, because without it, it's literally excruciating. And that's not something I've ever imagined I would have to go through. I mean, you just don't think about it. And, it's crazy, though. But yeah, my bones ain't very happy these days. I'm kind of made it to the scrawnier side. I don't really eat a lot, though. That's something I was talking to one of my friends about. I don't really eat a lot. I don't really get hungry a lot. So I live mostly off of coffee and hope, and that's about it.
And do you make goat milk lattes?
Do what now?
Well, because you have goats, it's like, are you drinking the milk?
Oh yeah, Well, I don't really like milk. I don't know. I'm not a milk person. Yeah, I'm not really a milk person. I don't know why. I just don't really like milk. Never really liked milk. When I was a kid, the group home I was raised in, they had these big bags that went in this machine. And they had like it almost reminded me of like a cow udder on the bag. I don't know how else to describe it. But you put them in the machine, and you had chocolate and vanilla. You closed the machine on these big bags and then clipped the ends, and you had to turn a valve, and the milk came out of these things. And it's always smelled horrendous. And I've never ever liked milk since then, because it's just like that smell of milk makes me think of that rotten smelling milk machine. I don't know what else to tell you, but milk ain't my thing.
Yeah.
Oh man! But my kids get it; they love it, and I beef theirs up. I put raw meal, like vanilla shake in theirs, and I put a lot of their vitamins and their supplements and things I hide in their milk in a shake, and then they don't even magnesium, all kinds of stuff. They don't even realize it's in there. They just chug it because it tastes like vanilla, and they're happy.
Yeah.
So I mean, we put matcha tea in there. We put pomegranate. We put all kinds of things to boost their antioxidants and. Just trying to help them thrive and stay healthy. And, the doctor told me he was shocked that I have not had to take my daughter in being neutropenic. She's not sick all the time. I don't have to rush her in all over the place. It's because I know how to take care of her naturally. I don't need, antibiotics and all the crap that they try to pump into her. When they used to give her antibiotics all the time, that child was sick as a dog.
Oh, yeah. And you're homeschooling, so she's not around other kids that are, sniffling and coughing and all that kind of stuff. in a German
That's
classroom.
right. Well,
My brother's kids have trouble catching stuff from everybody because there's a lot of military people in their classroom, military kids that bring everything in, all the germs.
oh, I'm going to see. I got somebody on the line. I'm going to see who this is real quick. It could possibly be my guest. I am hoping. Let's see if this is Dr. Weiler. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? 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 All right, well, we'll give whoever that is a few minutes and try again. Sometimes people call in and they just want to hang out in the green room and they don't want to say anything and they just want to listen, and that's fine too. I get a lot of people like that, and I forget the number. I need to just write down the phone numbers, like the first three of the people that usually sit in there so I don't forget, because we just get a lot of people who call in and sit in the dashboard to listen because they have a hard time listening in any other way. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm looking up the area code 419. It says it's Ohio. Is that where your guest was supposed to call from?
No, I think they're in Michigan. I think I think they're from Pennsylvania, but they're in Michigan today, so I'm not even sure what area code they'd be calling me from. I got friends all over the place. So it's kind of I talk to parents all the time, so it's kind of hard. I wouldn't even know who it is by their thing, but they've jumped out of here now anyway. So yes, Suzanne is another show host, guys.
I identified the area code. I didn't mean to scare anybody. I'm sorry.
How long have you been doing Mad Scientist?
Let me think. It was May of 2016, I think, that I started.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So I branch into other sciences, too, besides the vaccines, but the vaccines are my primary motivator because they're killing people and they know it, and I've reached a conclusion it's intentional, and this is just viscerally horrifying to me. But there are a lot of frauds going on in other sciences too, and the vaccine thing gets me so depressed. And I admire you so much, and our former host Tia Severino. Every week, you cover the same issue every week because that issue is progressing. In legislatures around the country, and you have guests on that have suffered horribly, and I just admire you all so much. And I don't know how to describe it. It's like I'm afraid to do what you do, even though I do it once in a while. So, I don't cover
it is scary.
Everything. Yeah.
I know you probably saw Suzanne's death threat this past week, and whoever wrote that to her was a cuckoo. Yes, what in the world? These are our people. You know what I'm saying? This is like Suzanne. I love Suzanne. I know anybody who's seen my profile picture. I love that woman. Yeah. I love that woman. I absolutely 100%. I would stand between her and a bullet any day of the week. And it frustrates me.
Yeah.
It literally frustrates me that I can't just put my 38 on my hip and go to that woman's house and stand there. Because she deserves it, and so do all our other warriors. Anybody who's willing to get out there in the trenches and tell the truth and, be loud about it, you deserve the love, you deserve the help. You know what I mean? Everybody, we all have got to have each other's backs, and it's hard.
And
it's so hard.
Realize that she's all over YouTube. If anything happened to her, it would just explode anyway. And there's all these other platforms out there now that are competing with YouTube because of all the censorship YouTube has been hammering down on people.
They're ridiculous.
There's all these different video platforms that are growing up. And
they censor me too.
You're on YouTube also?
Yeah, I am, and they censor me and they demonetize my, take away all the. I can't get paid from a lot of my videos. They don't like me.
Wow. Well, I should send you some links on some. One of the platforms where they're making it impossible to censor people is DTube. They've made it it's decentralized. It's kind of like modeled on cryptocurrency so that it can't be stopped. But and it's a growing thing. It's it's still small, but it's a growing thing.
Yeah. I want to
in
be on as many platforms as possible because I don't want to be preaching to the choir. I want to be on as many platforms as possible, reaching as many people as possible. If I'm if I'm only on a couple that are the most popular, then I'm not really doing anybody any good because most of our warriors are on those channels. You know what I'm saying? Or on those avenues. It is really good to branch out and to find those other places that maybe aren't as popular but are growing in popularity. And you get a lot of people who may have never heard any of this information. I'm always floored at how many people have never heard anything about this. And you're like, how the hell did you miss the memo? You know?
Yeah. Well, I was kind of shocked on my doctor friend's page how many people were like, oh, thank you, and they're just totally oblivious to the whole issue. You know?
Yeah.
You're just injecting this people, and now we have children getting shingles from the chickenpox vaccine.
That's
like
right.
my own nephew got shingles. You're not supposed to get it as a child. He was a teenager, and he got shingles from either. Now I'm not sure that my sister would have had him vaccinated for chickenpox, so he could have gotten it from some other person near him that got one of those shots and shed on him. I don't know.
Yep. That's also very likely. There's a lot of shedding going on. That's something that makes me so angry with everybody talking about these stupid measles outbreaks and all these lame news feeds. Like, wake the F up, America. Are you kidding me? Come on now. We're afraid of the measles. The measles. You get to stay home and play Xbox. Do not be afraid of that. You know what I mean?
Take your
ridiculous.
vitamin A and vitamin C and just get over it anyway.
Yes. Enjoy the break from school or whatever, and take your vitamins, and you'll be just fine. Stay out of a draft. Keep ventilation. There's very simple instructions for this, and you'll be just fine within a week or two. I mean, it's crazy that they're like, oh God, measles outbreak, Chicago, everybody run, it's horrible. Oh! Like, are you kidding me? I have such a hard time with that. I get in there and I start spreading truth in those feeds, and those people hate me because I can't take it. It's like, come on, Fox, come on, NBC, come on, you morons. It's ridiculous.
Fox News is predominantly funded with big pharma ads, so I don't expect a whole lot from them. They had this, their Dr. Siegel the other day, they decided that Trump had 2 vaccines, and because his doctor said, oh, he's up to date. Well, up to date means whatever you want it to mean. And Trump, I've covered Trump on my show with the recordings of him saying, I never get the flu shot, and knock wood, I don't get the flu, because I don't believe in injecting bad stuff into my body. And that's before he even ran, and now he's there was a funny thing. You remember was HHS Secretary Tom Price got suddenly fired last September. Well, all the news attributed to him having travel expenditure irregularities. Well, other secretaries have travel expenditure irregularities, but it was 24 hours before Trump fired him that Tom Price got up on a stage with bright lights, got his flu shot for the cameras, promoting the flu shot for the big pharmas. And within 24 hours, Trump kicked him out. And so, I think he's doing things without announcing what he's doing. I think he's on our side, and he's just cleaning out the swamp bit by bit. And
let's hope so.
The dominoes.
I just wish that this took precedence. Suzanne, I wish this went. That's just not because I'm like being a tantrum pitcher, and I just want it to be my way. For the fact that how many more babies have died since this started?
Yeah.
How many babies have died since he took office? How many teenagers have been injured since he took office? How many more children have been diagnosed autistic?
Yeah, and that's why we have to speak out and wake people up, because in most states right now, people still have the choice to not vaccinate, except for California, West Virginia, and Mississippi. And it looks like he just enabled all the parents in those states to refuse to. And he's doing it under the radar, and the mainstream isn't covering it. If he has to do it under the radar to preserve his own life, because I do think there are people out, if you think Suzanne Humphreys gets threats, I'm sure he does too,
Yeah. I had one about 6 months ago, and I know who it came from. And they told me that they could see me where I was from my GPS, and they were coming for me. And I said, You gonna threaten me with a good time? Come on with it. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid of you.
Yeah,
Come on. I leave my location on for a reason. I'm not afraid of you. If you show up, and one of us is going down. I'm ready. Are you? You know? I mean, you can't be afraid of these people. You can't even show a dot of fear. And that was what broke my heart when I saw Suzanne reading that email. Is I've been, you know, I don't know, I love Suzanne, and I pay attention to her. I probably know her body language. I'm one of those weird people. And she got so red and hived up throughout the time she was reading it, and you could tell that her poor blood pressure was just rising. And at the moment she read the part of it where she said, I could just run up on you while you're doing a live feed and shoot you, and you watch her reading this with a dark window door thing behind her, my mind and my heart are racing, and I'm like, oh, my God, just protect this woman. Like, what is going on? You know, I mean, this is insanity. How can somebody be that vile?
I think it's demonic possession. That's my
I'm
take
telling
on it.
you.
I
mean, and they can't even spell, punctuate, grammar, nothing. They were in a hurry when they were writing that because it came out. I mean, I was talking about it was almost like Ebonics or something, the way that it was written out, you know. Very unintelligible. It was very, I don't know, it's just weird the whole way it was, you know, when she read it, it was weird. You could tell the way it was written. This person was obviously not somebody who uses words very often.
No, and then he would repeat himself. I could run up on you while you're live, but then no, somebody in the back of the room might, you know, take me out if it's a crowd. Or I forget, but the guy like kept contradicting himself through that.
Yeah.
That letter too, and I was like, he's just thinking. He's just writing as he thinks. Not even realizing. Well, I happen to be looking at the switchboard too, and Lynette's connection has dropped, so we'll just be waiting for her to call back in. I'm just hanging here, and I hope you can hear me. And why did I just read that Bolin report thing? Because it's pretty hopeful for me. Actually, this is the website for her guest. James Lyons-Weiler, PhD author, and we hope he'll call in too. He's got his website, and there's a link. If you go to freedomizer.com, freedomizerradio.com right now, this show is the first show on the front page, and she's got links to his articles or to his website. It's jameslyonweiler.com, WEILER. And his latest posts are, and you got to come read this stuff, as states push for reason and rationality, New York Times goes over the edge, calls for mandatory death for genetic minority. That's horrible. His second article on the page here is Gardasil injection cover-up. Child kidnapped by government after, quote-unquote, accidental injection of HPV vaccine. And that was a 2-year-old, I believe. They accidentally vaccinated a 2-year-old with HPV Gardasil. And because the kid got sick from it, they're accusing the mother of Munchausen's by proxy disease.
The baby was 4 months old, Suzanne. That baby was only 4 months old and got the vaccines that were meant for her older sibling, including the HPV vaccine. Yep.
And she's 2 now.
I heard her tell her story last week.
Oh man. And then I saw that you dropped your call dropped, so I just started reading headlines.
Thank you. I was glad you were in here with me because I knew you'd know what to do.
Just kind of read along. Yeah, so the link, this episode is right now on the front page of freedomizerradio.com, and you can scroll through and see past episodes, and as episodes come up, they post on the front of the page too, and not just the Listen Live page. So you can have, there's links to guests if people put up show notes and links to guests and stuff like that. And so the link to this website is there now, so people can come see all this. He's got amazing things on his website.
Yes, he does. Mm-hmm. He is an amazing guy, and I was so lucky to meet him in person, and I didn't even realize what amount of greatness I was in the presence of at that point. I really didn't.
Wow.
But he is such an amazing guy, and we had so much fun with them, and here I get home, and I'm like, I was just like hanging out with this scientist dude, and he is like that awesome, it's like, wow. I mean, his fiancée, she was as sweet as she could be. It's just neat when you're able to do that and really get to meet other people who believe in, and are following and saving lives as well. And it's a hard path, and it's nice because it's a camaraderie like you'll never find anywhere else. It's unlike your church family. It's unlike your school friends. It's unlike anything else I've ever known, because we all know pain to a degree that most people will never understand. And the bond that is formed because of that is insane.
I mean, just dipping into the social media groups, like on Facebook and stuff, of parents, hundreds and hundreds of babies just killed with SIDS, which it's a vaccine injury.
I don't know if y'all can still hear Suzanne. I can't hear you if you can hear me. Sometimes we have calls that mess up, and mine dropped a moment ago. She's amazing. She kept the show going on. I'm so glad she's in here. So glad she called me. I hope she can get back through. I don't know what's going on. The shows are still here, so I'm not sure what's going on. Let's see if she comes back through. Maybe she accidentally bumped mute on her own end or something. Because I have her in the dashboard, so we'll see what happens. Oh my goodness, you guys. Everything is insane. Ooh-wee. It's getting warm back here. I got my heater on in my little radio room today. Hey, Suzanne, if you can hear me, hang up and call back in if you can, because I can't hear you anymore, friend. Sorry, you guys, that Dr. Weiler did not make it on. I don't know. I guess he is super busy right now. It seems like, I guess he's in Michigan. I think that's what I'm being told. So they've got a Michigan anti-vaccination case back in court today, and I believe that is where my friend is at. So it's very understandable. Maybe we will be able to reschedule for a day that is not so busy. There's a lot of things going on right now. I mean, I've seen, obviously, I know you guys have heard of that mother that was jailed for not vaccinating, and the sad part is, to me, it felt like just one more thing that, people can use against their spouses when they decide to not be together and things like that. It's really it's a sad thing when you have to worry about that, whether or not your children would be intentionally poisoned for somebody to gain the upper hand. I saw that happen to one person and then another, and then my son himself was intentionally vaccinated by my ex just to get a rise out of me. Literally vaccinated them the day before I picked him up to come back out here, and it was just crazy to me that people think like that had seen all the research and the science, and that is still what happened. So, and it was the first round of Gardasil. That's why I always tell you guys, Colton's story means so much to me and made me so worked up and so upset, is Gardasil is a vaccine that has damaged so many children out there. My friend that I shouted out to earlier, Jeff, his daughter Sydney has suffered. If you have not seen theirs, you can go watch theirs. Watch Vax TV and put in Iowa. Seeing how much medications these kids had to take after the fact, seeing how many, dollars the big pharma people made off of them even after the injury, and knowing that when you file with the VICP, which is the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program, for those of you who haven't ever heard of it, you get nothing. They turn you away. They tell you, go find your own expert. Go find your own lawyer. And I've been trying to do that for Lily's case. It is very hard. I've got a few friends now that I didn't have before that I'm going to try to see if I can't get some help with Lily's case, because we are coming up on about 6 months until her time limit is up for 3 years from her injury. 3 years that she's been autoimmune neutropenic, 3 years that she's been getting injections in her thighs a couple of times a week of Neupogen, 3 years of that, and drama and pain for her, and moodiness, and all kinds of things as a result of her medicine, thinned hair, and tooth pain, and jaw pain, and headaches, and bone and joint pain, and it's pretty crazy how it all goes, isn't it? Suzanne, I still cannot hear you, my friend, if you are there. I'm going to boot you. Call back. Call back. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know if you guys can hear me anymore. Maybe somebody out there that's in listening land of my friends could let me know if you can still hear me. I don't know. I did lose Suzanne from the show. She is the Mad Scientist. If you want to look her show up, she is a pretty awesome lady, and she's been doing a lot of these type of topics as well as covering, a lot of other stuff. She does cover vaccination. I've seen her share a lot of info. She's brought a lot of things to my attention throughout the time that we have known each other on Facebook, and do hope to meet her in person as well. I always want to meet my warrior friends. It's important to me to be able to see everybody face to face, and I think that you can get to know character a lot better that way. And you can kind of tell who's your friends and who's your foes, and learn a lot more. Oh, I know, only an hour left, guys. Yeah, I wish I had. Keep losing my callers, keep losing my guests. I don't know what's going on today. I must be cursed this week. It has been a week from hell. I'm not even kidding. And it sounds like it's been a week from hell for everyone. And, it's just really sad. A lot of people, as I touched on earlier, all the division, that type stuff happening. We've got a lot of that going on again, which I thought was kind of squashed for a while there. So I'm kind of really sad to see that arising again. I thought that the maturity level of the group and the bar had been raised and things had changed. So I'm really hoping that we go back to that and get back to normal and leave all that behind. And I guess we'll just see how everything works out and goes with all that kind of stuff. You can never tell. You can only influence people. That's all you can do. You can try your best to keep bad things from happening, but all you can do is really influence people. You can't change situations. Oh, my coffee is getting cold. Oh, Lord have mercy. It's the end of the world. Oh. Well, I'm curious to see what happens this coming week. I heard that someone flew a drone in Dr. Suzanne and Polly and them's yard at the Autism Trust property. So I'm not really sure why you would fly a drone onto the property a day after an email like that was sent, unless you were part of that. Let me see. I think we've got Suzanne back. Are you there, my friend?
Hi. It looked
Yay.
to me like your call dropped, and so I took off on a rant, and then my call dropped, and so I didn't want to be taking over your show.
Oh, no, you're good. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, because I could still see your phone number, so I'm like, what in the world can she? I thought maybe you accidentally bumped mute. I wasn't sure what happened.
I don't know. I could see your
right.
phone number, but I couldn't hear you. So it was just...
Yeah. It's exactly the same
good.
thing for me.
Yeah,
Freedomizer does that sometimes, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it affects...
And the more you talk about important topics.
Systems. Yeah. I know Ed has a different phone carrier than I do. Ed August, he's another one of our show hosts. And his phone drops more often than mine off of Freedomizer. And so...
I have a lot of people who like that.
Wow.
Do you know who Sherry Saunders is? She's one of our warrior friends. She used to call in quite a bit to my show, and her call would get dropped all the dang time, and I would get so frustrated by it, but it's because she would come in here dropping truth bombs like crazy, and she talked about medical kidnapping and all kinds of stuff, and, it doesn't matter whether you're on Freedomizer or where you are. Somebody's always listening in who don't like what you're talking about. Something's going to happen. And I can hear so much interference when I go back and listen to certain shows. I can hear, whole times where people are talking and you can barely even understand them, where when I'm talking to them on here, I could hear them just fine. And it'll be, real, scratchy, or you'll hear, bloopy kind of sounds in the background and stuff. And it's like, what in the world is going on here?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, there's some thunder going on out here, girl. It just shook my whole house.
Ooh. I know Proof Negative had some tweets going on, or bloopy sounds on his, and I'm not sure what it was. I was able to get him in the chat room one day, and he was able to stop it on his end. And so I don't know if it had to do with his phone or his headset or what.
Right, maybe headset. I thought about that too. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I like doing Prue's show every now and then. Prue's a good guy, and appreciate what he does and keeping us all up and running. I've been having an issue lately trying to get in to do my show through Freedomizer. I don't know what is going on, my friend, but every time I go where it usually says Freedomizer's little square, it says Blog Talk instead, and I can't get in. I have to find all these crafty ways to try to get into the studio.
Wow. I've got
yeah, no, I'll send you a picture
along my toolbar here. Yeah, I've had to change computers a few times over the months and years and stuff. Like, hey, my computer's crashing. I got to run to another one. So.
Yeah, I'm on my third cord, and I broke I dropped it right where the cord plugs in, so it shattered the inside. Now it doesn't even really fit. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do that soon too. I'm hard on computers.
Yeah, this one's less than a year old, and I managed to scratch the screen with something, and now that it's like the left inch of my screen is blank, and I had to drag my whole taskbar over to the right because I couldn't even see the start.
Girl, I bought my daughter this toy. Well, I mean, it was $130-something. Some little kids, it's got the Looney Tunes showing on it and all this stuff. It's supposed to be for learning. It said it had math and all these kind of things for her age range. I bought it at Walmart. It looked like a little tablet, but it was foam coated or whatever. And her sister walks up to it, Jazzy, with one little tiny plastic cup, taps the screen, and shatters the entire screen of this thing 2 weeks after I gave it to her.
Oh, man.
Are you kidding? And I, of course, opted for no insurance because I'm thinking this is made for kids. It should be sturdy. Why would I need the insurance? The insurance is $50. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm so frustrated right now. It's are you kidding me? I told Lala, and it's I'm just going to put tape over the whole screen.
I did opt for the warranty on this, the extra warranty, and when I brought it back, they said, oh, that doesn't cover physical damage. I'm like, what the hell is this for?
Yeah, what's the point? What do I need this for?
Yeah, we can't even order you the part. We're not supposed to, but here's the part number. You can order it and bring it back and then pay us the labor, and we'll install it for you. It's, swapping out the screen. On my laptop, and I'm like, the heck no. I can pay my son to do that. I'm not
right.
I'll never buy here again, Well, actually,
yeah.
I moved 100 miles away, so I'm not going to buy there again anyway, but... But my other son does drive up there periodically to buy some fancy electronic gadget because they have bigger stuff going on in Phoenix than they have in Tucson.
Yeah. Well, I'd be afraid to drop my computer off anywhere these days. Somebody be taking everything off of it or putting something on it.
Putting something on it. Yes, right. And well, that came out like a year or so ago that the FBI contracted with the Geek Squad to go over people's computers, and there was a guy on trial for that, and that's how it made the news, because they found one image of child porn in an in a part of the computer that had been deleted. So I don't know if he got the computer used or not, but the lawyer was arguing it was inaccessible. This guy accessed it. If he had bought it from somebody else, you're prosecuting the wrong guy. Who knows how it got there? And
a lot of these computers are supposedly, what do you call it? Brought back to factory settings or something. So you wouldn't even know what had been on it previously that could be locked in the cookies or wherever the hell it's at.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's I don't know. I don't buy things like that used though. I'm really particular about technology, and I always buy my stuff new.
I bought a tablet new one time, and it was a very inexpensive tablet. It was under $100 on Amazon, and it arrived with a virus on it. I bought it for displaying sheet music because I play in a folk orchestra, and that's actually where I know that doctor from. We both play in the orchestra. He's a much better musician than I am, but I bought it to hold my sheet music and not have to carry on big books of paper sheet music, and I just kept getting pop-ups of naked women on the screen. And so I reset it to factory resets, and I kept getting pop-ups of other obnoxious stuff. The naked women lasted a long time, and then, so I just keep factory resetting it. I'm finally not getting pop-ups. I think that pop-up company went out of business. I don't know. But I never could because like I'm to be in the middle of a rehearsal and there's these naked women on my screen and like and then it was games, all these weird games, but that came brand new. That wasn't refurbished.
Your grandmother sitting behind you on the couch. No, Grandma, I did not look that up. I'm not lying. Leave me alone.
I know, but I'm saying it's brand new. Yeah, so it wasn't off
right.
So I don't even know what was made.
You had somebody at the factory messing around on your laptop having a good old time before they put that in the box.
Yep. Well, they installed it, because they wanted to sell me something, I guess. I'm supposed to click on the naked women and go buy their porn site or something. I don't know. So then they tried other things to pop up in my face. That went on for a couple of years.
Right.
I never did replace it. I just, for the heck with this, and it just laid on the table for a long time.
They should pay more attention to who their target is. Like, shoot, what do I need that for? I can go look in the mirror at a naked woman. What the hell? I'm good to go. The hell do I need this for? You people are idiots. Send me a picture of a lamp and a rug, and we're good. I'm clicking on it. Y'all are really not targeting me right here. This is not cool.
Yeah. Well, there was the whole, I don't know how much you follow with the whole deep state stuff and how they've been trying to get Trump forever and all this stuff and the stolen emails from the DNC server and they actually, the reason I believe that the DNC never turned the actual servers over to the FBI was because there's like this CIA software that can leave footprints for anybody there, and they were trying to implicate the Russians by leaving Russian footprints on a computer that the Russians never touched. And there's all this stuff where they can plant stuff on your computer. There's no way I would take my computer to one of these shops anymore. Like, well, if I have to buy a new computer, I have to buy a new computer. These days it's almost cheaper than going to them anyway.
It really is. You're right. It really is, though. I tried to look into having a screen replaced on one in the past, and it cost me just as much as it would to go buy a new one. So I just went and bought a new one, and I'm sure I'll be buying a new one again soon. I'm really rough on technology. I hate that, but it's just the way it is. I'm always doing stuff at the same time as I'm working on my computer. So of course, and I don't invest in spray air, which I probably should.
In a what? In what?
The spray air to clean all your little keys out or whatever, I need to do that too.
Oh, I don't invest in that either.
Yeah, mine's probably full of God knows what.
Real bugs, huh? Yeah, don't spill you get real bugs in your computer. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Yep, definitely. You know what, I gotta say thank you so much for hanging out with me. And talking to me. I've been meaning to talk to you anyway. I listen to your show. I just don't ever call in. I don't really call to many. I call every blue moon. I'll call into a show. I think I've called maybe Proof's show twice, and I've called the Body, Mind, and Soul one with Stephanie, and I can't remember. I've called a couple of them, but I don't really. I like to listen. I don't really call a lot, but I always love when people call mine. It's fun. It's nice to talk. And you do a lot of the stuff on the same topic. I see you in a lot of the same groups as me. I see you posting a lot of articles and things, and you definitely post interesting things on Freedomizer, and I love it because you get people thinking, and that's what we need to keep doing.
Oh, yeah.
We are literally, I know you see it when you go out in public, people just walking around in a fog and not really understanding what's going on. And the more people we wake up, I'm having people finding me locally who say they know who I am, they know what I do, and they're a fan of mine or they're whatever. So I'm making a difference. That's to the point that's weird. Like, to me, that's amazing because I never expected that. Like, I talked to a lot of people locally, but this wasn't someone that I found that I talked to or that I told the truth to. This is someone who found me. And, just happened to run into me in public later on.
There's a woman I see in a lot of these groups named Suzanne Fury, and her baby was killed by my vaccine. And so she has no fear. She goes up to anybody she sees that's pregnant and hands them cards.
Yes.
On, know the risks, our vaccine's safe, and all this stuff. Hands them little business cards. She has no fear. I still do. I won't walk up to
not
people
me.
and say, "Hey, you're pregnant."
Oh,
what do
no,
you,
not
you know?
me.
I
don't go people like that though, Suzanne. But I'm telling you, friend, I talk to everybody. I embarrass most of my family. My husband has not been in public with me in years, and I'm not exaggerating. He doesn't go anywhere with me. My teenager's embarrassed to go a lot of places with me. My little kids don't understand yet, and so that makes it a little easier. So they go with me where but I mean, I will witness to anybody and tell them about this stuff. I mean, I talk to the elderly. I just was talking to, I talked to people in Home Depot, whoever's shaking my paint that day. You know what I mean? Hey, don't forget, don't get that flu shot this year. It's really not effective, and it's really making a lot of people sick. It's even killing people. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Where'd you hear that at? Oh, I heard it on, social media. They won't cover it on the news because they want you to go get that shot. Oh, man. He said, yeah, I got one last year and got sick. It probably is hurting people.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, casual conversation. If I'm already talking to them, I think I talked to a cashier a couple of weeks ago. If I'm already talking to them, but if like they're
I'm
just
a bad person. I go way out of my way.
Well,
I will. I'm bad. I'll be like, oh my God, Lala, that lady's pregnant. I'm going over there, and I'll like get cards out of my purse or whatever, and she just looks at me like, oh, not again. But I mean, I can't help myself though, because especially if I see a woman who's getting close to popping, it's like, please don't let them do this on the first day of life. Let me explain to you why. Number one, vitamin K is not just a vitamin; it has a black box warning. Black box warning on the vitamin K, ladies. It's not just a vitamin. So that's the first thing I tell these pregnant women. Second thing I always tell them is Hep B. Your child does not need this unless they are planning on being a streetwalker or a drug addict when they are born, and I'm sure you have better values than that. Don't let them bully you into this. And I tell them the way you get out of vaccinating. You tell those people in the hospital. All you have to do is tell those people, I would prefer my regular pediatrician I've already established do these vaccines for me. So we've already got an appointment set for when I'm done here. They don't look into that. They don't follow you home. They don't go call that place. They assume that you're telling the truth and you're going to take that kid to get their vaccine. Somebody else getting that kickback. It ain't going to be them. It works. It really works. So women out there looking for a way out of this, that is what I did with Jasmine, and nobody said a word to me. Nobody said a word to me. Sadly enough, they vaccinated her behind my back, but not at the hospital. At the hospital, nobody touched her. She never left my room. She never left my side.
Wow.
It was a very, very awesome experience because they listened and they just, okay, cool.
And the web wasn't out yet,
Yeah.
Back then, so I don't know that they got any. They probably got the vitamin K. Mine did, and I let my husband at the time decide on whether to circumcise the boys, and that I would have fought that more now. I'm older, I fight more.
Right. See, and I didn't know about any of that either. And my poor son, let me tell you, Suzanne, I feel like the devil. My son was so sick at birth. He was blue and not breathing when he was born. The doctor pretty much ripped this child out of me. He had fingernail marks on the sides of his head from her pulling him. And she said, I've got to get your baby born, and I have got to get to work by 8 a.m. I do not have time for this to be a long delivery. And so my baby came out quick. They said the disorder my son had when he was born only happens in children who are in C-sections because they don't get the fluid out. He had something called transient tachypnea. And he was born blue. He wasn't breathing. They didn't let me I literally got a glimpse of him. He was gone out of the room. And it was just crazy. It was just I don't know. These doctors they're not paying attention. They're so worried about all this other stuff, and he was so sick from that. He ended up with asthma. He ended up with all these other health problems that he did not get circumcised until he was 3 years old. And when he got, because I didn't know there was something wrong with this still, they kept trying to reschedule it, and every time they would reschedule it, he would be sick, and they would have to say, well, we're going to have to put it off. He has to be healthy to have a surgery, which of course I agree with, but they would have to keep pushing it off. So 3 years old, and it was right around his 3rd birthday, and he kept saying, the weenie bug bit me, the weenie bug bit me, because it hurt so bad, and he had a sting before, so I guess that's what in his mind it equivalated to. But, I mean, it was horrible. And he wouldn't take the pain medicine because it tasted horrible, so he would just suffer and cry, and it was like, why did I do this to my child? Why did I do this? Like, what is the difference? And I remember everybody telling me, well, you want him to look like his dad, and it was like, what the hell does that even matter? Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, what does that even matter?
Their dad. My sons have never
they
seen
all
their
are,
dad.
it doesn't even matter. Like, it's not like you're standing there comparing them later on in life. Like, well, let me see. Does mine look like yours?
No.
This is not how this works.
But that was in their father's head. Well, they should look like me, but the kids would never have known the difference. And, I justified it in my own head. It's like, okay, well, Jesus was circumcised, so it must have been okay. Well, that was a religious thing 2,000 years ago. Christians don't require circumcision.
It's insane. It really is. And they make you feel like it's just, once again, it's just something that they make you feel like it's just natural. It's part of it's part of life. It's part of what we do as a human race. This is normal. And it really isn't that normal. If you ever see the procedure, this is something that really made me sick. I did not know that this is what happened. When I saw the procedure, I felt bad for every single man out there that has been through this. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is how you started off your life? Yeah. Oh, my God. I can only imagine why you're in a bad mood. This is horrible.
There's another warrior out there. I mean, she's anti-vax, but she's also anti-circumcision. And she puts photographs of the procedure and the little foreskin laying to the side there. She puts them up on Facebook constantly. So she's constantly in Facebook jail. And but she
they don't like me either.
She goes, if any of you own Bitcoin, unfriend me now. And I'm like, well, okay, I own a little Bitcoin. Bye. You don't put ultimatums like that. We were supposed to be on the same team.
People get on my nerves with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody to each their own, whatever, don't put, I hate that. People be like, well, if you stay friends with so-and-so, they're a troll, I'm not your friend anymore. It's like, until they show me a bad side, I'm not going to let you tell me who's who. If I can go to their page and I can tell I made a mistake by adding this person in the past, then yes, I'll delete them. But you could have people who just don't like somebody who call them out as a troll, and next thing you know, they're thrown out of the movement, and they may have just been a personal rift.
I don't know how you throw somebody out of the movement. Everybody has their own message to carry. I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen things happen in the past where I guess, it just seems like, I don't know, people just seem to get so caught up in what everybody else is up to instead of what they're doing themselves. And, that's what I was saying earlier about the vax team. I absolutely love those people, but at the same time, I'm out here living this. I'm out here doing this. I'm not just watching everybody else do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't pretend to be putting yourself on the line and just sitting there watching the videos all day long. I even let the stuff play on my car over the stereo if I don't want to feel like I'm offending by not seeing one of my, friends who's gone live on the page or something. I let it play while I'm out doing things or, going out doing stuff. I let it play. I don't miss out on the opportunity to get out and talk to people so that I don't miss a live feed or I don't, people just really do need to wake up more to be your own hero. Do your own thing. Don't always wait for somebody else to do something, for you to share it, for you to do whatever. We need every single voice. We need every single person being loud, standing right next to us, not behind us, not off to the side, but locked arm right here, ready to be in the trenches with us. And, yes, it's scary. Yes, it's something that is, but this is it. We're out of time. We're not even running out of time. We're just there. So this is one of those things where it doesn't matter,
They keep putting up these notices of panic diseases that they're planning to bring us. You just read the front page of the Judge report, and all these panic diseases, and then they're gonna, they're just gonna try to make us all get it by injecting it, calling it a vaccine and injecting it, or spraying it out, and I in the subways and the malls and whatever is, oh well, you went out in public, and oh well, you didn't take the vaccine, it's your fault, and all this, and I'm like, no way, this is bio warfare. They,
right.
And they just absolutely salivate. They get on the mainstream media and they salivate about the next pandemic that they are planning. And they say, oh, it's coming. Well, read between the lines. They're planning it.
Oh, yeah.
It just
oh yeah, friend.
Yeah.
There's poison everywhere. You know it and I know it. It's so sad to see. And then people look at me like I'm crazy when I talk about fluoride in the water or something. It's in there.
Oh, yes.
It doesn't do you any good. It is a waste product of. It is a it comes from doing something else. They need a way to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's disgusting. We don't need those kind of things. It's literally just another neurotoxin. One more thing added to the list that's in your body that doesn't need to be there. You got that in your water. You got the glyphosate and the GMOs in your foods. You've got the crap they're spraying, the aluminum and barium and all this other crap they're spraying in the air, lithium, God knows what else, going in the air in these chemtrails that people think, oh, that's just clouds. I'm sorry, y'all, but clouds don't come in asterisks and don't come in star shapes and don't come in perfect checkerboards. And it's just not, I'm sorry, that does not, look back in the past. It is not the way clouds look.
And water filters in the air and water filters in your home.
Yes,
and,
yes.
I don't know if you follow David Seaman, but he's the guy that was thrown off of the Huffington Post for posting about Hillary's health last year. And they deleted him, and they deleted a lot of his articles, and he's got a YouTube channel. And last week he put up a video, I'm changing my fluoride filters today, and look at this, look how filthy they are. And just remember, if you don't have a filter on your home, you are the filter. And
That's right.
His filters look the exact same color as when my teeth grew in as a kid. We all wondered, well, why are my baby teeth white, but as soon as my adult teeth come in, they're
like chalky
yellow.
white.
This yellow, and it's I grew up in the Hudson Valley, and we had fluoridated water, and we were at front edge of the curve for human health because we were fluoridating our it's garbage. It's garbage. It turns your teeth into your bones
It's in the nursery water. That blows my mind when you go to the dang, grocery store and you see these nursery waters and baby waters that say with added fluoride. Here, with added neurotoxins, just for your sweet little bundle of joy.
Well, they've disappeared out of the grocery stores here with the added fluoride label.
I see them here. I see them in here.
Man.
But, Alabama, we're behind everybody all the time. Like, we get everything later, our clothes, fashion, everything that happens here happens later than it happens everywhere else.
Well, then
it's kind of interesting to see.
I think you'll see that going away because nobody buys it. Nobody with half a brain.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Of course, the
it
accumulates in your brain too, in your pineal gland.
No crap. And they're buying it for their baby's teeth that aren't even in existence yet. I mean, how much sense does that make? Here, drink a bunch of fluoride for your teeth that don't exist, and this stuff don't even help your teeth. It's craziness. It's all crazy. It's so frustrating. Holy crap. And you know what I mean, though, because people just look at you like you're nuts, and you're like, how can you not see what I'm saying? Oh.
Yeah, that's the secret of mankind is that we're so gullible but the other secret is the other half of mankind lies. So half lies, the other half are gullible. And that's like the secret of humanity. It's just like you got to stop them from lying, but you got to stop believing everything that somebody tells you. You got to do your own, look it up, prove it to yourself, download the package inserts, download the ingredient list. And all this, I wouldn't walk into a doctor's office and say, give me the package insert, because you see that a lot. People put out means, ask for the package insert, and then read it together with the, it's like you need a microscope to read it. They print them so small. Like, no, I'm downloading it before I even walk in. If they're going to offer me something, I'm going to already be aware of it and put them to shame. And I can pull it up in my phone and show it to them, but I'm not going to waste time, reading it in the doctor's office. It's just like, you can download them all. Just download them all and read it because they're 20 pages long of microscopic font.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's really
that's the hard part, too. We try to read a bunch of the inserts and things, and it's like, oh, my goodness. Tiny little print and everything that they say in there. I've seen SIDS in some. I've seen autism in some.
Yeah.
I've seen just about anything I've seen happen to anybody or heard of. And it's
They
like, how are
changed
we?
that one. They changed that one, the DTaP, for Tripedia, the Tripedia one. They changed that, and I think essentially what they did is they renamed it. I don't know if I did a whole episode on it, but I did do a blog article on it where they've retired Tripedia and they've brought out this Daptocel and Adacel. And essentially, I think that was so that they could reissue the package insert, because we ex-vaxxers were passing around, look here, the DTaP vaccine says SIDS and it says autism right there. And we were passing around all these names with it. So what they did is they renamed the vaccine. I don't think they chemically changed it at all. They changed the name of SIDS to apnea. Never mind. Okay, apnea, you stop breathing, and if you don't catch it in time, you die. And that's what, used to be called SIDS, now it's called apnea. And they changed the autism to just a list of its symptoms. And it's that way they took the word SIDS and they took the word autism out of the DTaP package insert so they could play their word games. It's absolutely sick, insidious, evil.
I look at my child and I'm thinking, she was only vaccinated through 4 months, and the 4 month one she got behind my back. And she didn't get them in the hospital at birth, but they did give them to her at her 2 month visit, and I don't remember why that was, but she wasn't supposed to have those either. So technically she shouldn't have had any, but she did have those few. And but I had one at 26 months pregnant with her. They gave me Tdap for a cut on my finger. And I remember asking that doctor so many times in that ER, is she, is this okay? Are you sure this is going to be okay? I've never heard of giving a woman a vaccine when they're pregnant. I asked a lot of questions, and my teenage daughter, Lala, was with me, and she kept patting me, and she kept saying, Mom, it's okay. I know you're scared of needles, but it's okay. And, yes, I am scared of needles. Yes, I have over 40 tattoos, but it's different, okay? It's different. I can lay there and I, meditate through a tattoo, but when someone comes at me and wants blood or wants to pump something in me, it's a whole different story. I don't know why that is, but it is.
But
and I'm that person.
Okay.
Yeah. So he told me, they've studied this. It's fine. They can't do anything. You need it. If you were to get tetanus while you're pregnant, your baby will die in the womb, and you don't want to be responsible for that just because you didn't want to get a poke. And I said, is it going to hurt? And he said no more than something. And he was being rude at that point because I don't remember exactly what he said, but Lala looked at me like, what the hell? Because he said something like no more than your attitude or something. I don't remember, but it wasn't nice. And then he just stabbed me in my arm and right in one of my tattoos, actually. And that was it. But I got directly sick after that and stayed sick through the end of my pregnancy. Throwing up to the point of bile and foam and polka dots on my skin from all the heaving and just miserable. And I remember, I literally couldn't leave the bathroom because when you're throwing up that bad and you're pregnant, you're going to pee. So I'm just sitting in there barfing and peeing and barfing and peeing, and it's like, these people are trying to kill me, oh my God.
And if it wasn't you, it was the baby they were trying to kill, because the statistics are way up on fetal demise from the DTaP shot. And the flu shot.
And she came out tiny. Yeah, she came out little. She came out, at first nobody noticed anything I did. Her hands were held really strange, and she was just different to me. I'm a mom. I can tell a difference. But by 6 months, I really knew she was different. And then now that she's 2, she's been diagnosed with severe global development delay, severe autism. I know she has epilepsy. They want her to go. We got neurologist appointments coming. We've got sleep studies and swallow studies. And this poor kid, just, it's horrible. And I think about that, and I'm like, what if that man had never come near me with that vaccine during that pregnancy? What if he had never come near me? Where would she be? How would she be? She's a beautiful little girl, and that's what, recover her or don't, whatever happens, I am absolutely 100% in love with her. She is perfect. I've never met somebody so kind in my life. So, for me, whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? Rejoice in the Lord always. You can't be mad. So.
Yeah, but he's out there. He's vaccinating other people, and I wish there was a way to find him and sue him and all that kind of stuff.
Amen,
but that's a big
sister. Wow. And I told Leo I wanted to. I've got all my medical records, and I've got where he vaccinated me, which of course it tells the name of the doctor who had my my case that night in the ER. I've been getting a lot of stuff together, and I wanted to take him a lot of information along with my daughter's diagnosis paperwork and
That's
say,
what you did to us,
this is
buddy.
what you, yes, and this is what you need to tell the next mother when she comes in here pregnant and you think she needs a Tdap, is you need to say, here's the risk, and these are the real risks, because this is what happens. And, I mean, this is really what happens to these kids. That's a lot of toxic load to give to a baby that's brain is developing. There's no way that that doesn't do something.
And now they're trying to vaccinate pregnant women who don't come into the ER with a cut. You know, they want to get them all, and that's I think this
you know
is
why?
too. So your child will be born already sick. You will never know them healthy,
That's
and
right.
you can't point to a regression
That's right,
date.
Suzanne. That's right, Suzanne. Because that way there's no switch to flip.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
I agree with you 100%.
And they tied the Zika thing. The microcephaly started happening within the length of a pregnancy after Brazil started forcing pregnant women to get the DTaP. Then when their terms came due, they started having these microcephalic babies. It's also related to the chemicals they sprayed in the water to kill the mosquitoes.
Yep, those pesticides.
It directly, it attacks the mosquitoes' their neurological system, and then you drink it and it attacks the baby's neurological system too. But it's all tied together. Brazil really screwed this up, and they think they're going to bring it here and make us shoot up Zika vaccine. No way. No way.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking about too, is like the Ebola thing. I mean, I know everybody remembers when all of a sudden Ebola was here and everybody was going ape, and then here come the vaccine, and then bam, gone, nothing. Ebola's just boop, crickets chirping. What the hell happened?
and then they're publishing paper, mainstream articles on how disappointed the scientists were that they couldn't study it longer because it blew itself out. Like, you're disappointed because it blew itself out too fast for you? Oh my gosh!
You a-holes. Yes, I mean I'm all for science, but come on, folks, let's not try to like make more people ill here.
That's my slogan.
I mean, it's the same thing.
Of course, I trust science. As scientists, I don't trust.
I like my friend that was supposed to be the guest today. He had a shirt that said "Because Science," and it had the little Muppet characters on there, the little beaker and whatever, and made me giggle because that's how I see things these days. Is it's just a bunch of puppets and Muppets in there doing the job, and nobody's. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's doing the real stuff, and then these few people who are doing the real science, like him, they're just being ignored, and it's like, how can you ignore this? And then, or people are writing moronic rebuttal type, articles that just make your mind go, what the what? I mean, I'm sorry, but and I'm not afraid of mentioning people either. Dorit Rubenstein-Reese. She really, 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 really needs to find something better to do with her time. Go get saved, woman. Find a church to be a part of. Go get something to do.
I think she's possessed.
Jesus Christ. I'm gonna have to agree with you there. Her and Pan, I think they're secret lovers somewhere in there, and they're both possessed.
I'm not sure she's even a woman. Just to be my doctor friend, he puts up this New York Times article about the shingles vaccine, and I just hit him with all this science, and he won't argue with me, on his page, and he just says, I'm going to politely disagree. And I'm thinking, what is there to disagree with, man? I gave you science.
Right, right.
And,
you can't disagree with facts, buddy.
I know. Well, I know, but I didn't want to say that because I actually have to. We're in an orchestra together. We have a big concert coming up. I can't have this blow up into real life. There'll be like 40 of us on the stage at once, but he only sits a couple seats away from me. So
just make a folder. Make a folder of as much information as you can gather, and just put things you may want to look into on the as the title on the folder, and just give it to him and say, hey, I'm just being a friend and trying to share. You can look at the sources yourself and the resources and make up your own mind, but I at least wanted to share it with you. I mean, there's always ways in, buddy. There's always ways in. I always start things with asking people what they already know. Yeah, see, I think you got to make them feel smart. You got to make them feel like, well, what do you know about vaccines? Or what do you know about this? And then, oh yeah, well, I heard this. I was just reading this article the other day, blew my mind. I mean, you can, you know what I mean?
You can. Try that.
I always find, I would just always find little ways in that are, I mean, even I don't know. I just have over time just come up with these ways because I do try to talk to so many people, but. I mean, most of the checkout people at our local Walmart and Winn-Dixie and places like that, they all know me as the anti-vaccine lady. They all know the truth now. I've got some of them buying my products from me. Some of them coming to me, my mom has colon cancer and my mom has this or my dad has this, and what can we do and how do I do this? And it's like, holy crap! Okay, let me go home and do some more reading.
Yeah.
But we're all out here just trying to do our best we can, fill our spaces in the movement, use your talents to help the movement, use your voice if you feel like you can. If not, everybody has their own way of doing things. For me, I enjoy doing my radio show. I enjoy making my products. I enjoy parents talking to me. I like being there for people. For me, the greatest joy in life is helping other people feel good. Like that to me is the most healing thing I have ever found for pain is making other people feel good. So, it's I don't know. You'd be surprised. A lot of people out there are really hurting.
My kids get tired of listening to me because when I talk about this issue, I tend to get angry because they're intentionally causing all these injuries and deaths, and my kids don't want to hear it anymore. So I was like, okay, let's talk about something else, and then I'll get passionate about that, and then they just like, Mom, go talk on your radio show. I was like, okay, you can.
Right, sounds like my life.
I've got all the replays. You can just play them back, and you want to hear what your mom's talking about.
Yeah, I have way more friends than I do family who listen in for sure. I think maybe my husband has heard one show ever. I have local friends who work with him who listen to every show. So it's like, you kind of have it where it's, what's up, Ed and Stacy? But you kind of have it where, everything is different. Everybody's different. I enjoy that so many people reach out to me during the show and talk to me and tell me, even just cracking jokes or just saying things to me about, hey, ask this question or whatever. I love that. I love knowing they're out there and knowing I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. And, it makes you feel good because this is a big topic. This is an important topic. We've had people call in who said first-time listener, first-time caller, had no idea vaccines were causing problems. Can you tell me more? I mean, or could you tell me why you think it, or are you a conspiracy theorist? And I can explain why I'm not. It's
conspiracy truther.
Thank you. It's nice to have a platform like this for us. And thank you for, talking about vaccines on your show, too, and, just speaking the truth out there. And it is scary. And, I've had, when we all just really do have to keep the faith. And if you don't believe in God, then whatever you do believe in, I used to always want to say I kind of like to believe in Buddhism just because I'd like to think I get to come back and try over again. And, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, but
I don't know.
Such a basket of
I want
suffering.
to try
I want to
this.
go back.
Oh, I do. I've been through about as much craziness as you can imagine from about birth on, but I don't know. I think about it and I think, man, what could you do in a whole different life, in a whole different way of the world? Like what, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just think it'd be interesting to see who you would be and what you would be doing, and I don't know. You never know.
Yeah.
you may come back and be like, damn it, Lynette.
Well, I guess I'm thinking I'll go on to another life and another plane, the Christian idea of,
see, I keep wondering, do you hang out here till God comes back, though? Because they say, when he comes back, he calls you up. So what do you do until then? That's where I'm at. I'm like, are we just like hanging out? Like, okay, do I get to go be a bird for a while or something that doesn't have a long lifespan? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you know? What are you doing until he comes back? I mean, are we just all hanging out, like rubbing elbows in limbo?
I don't know. I'm the Catholic variety of Christian, so we tend to think, well, we just go over and join Jesus without our bodies, and then later on he'll reunite us with our bodies. But, there's a lot of things that have been happening in my life that I believe that I've had communication from relatives who have passed on. And they're out there watching and actually intervening and making good things happen. You know, that's I can see the connections. And
right.
so I don't think I'll be not busy waiting for, you know, his you know, real physical return. You know, he could be here and we wouldn't even know it too, because he can be stealthy. I mean, there's passages in the Bible where, you know, after he rose from the dead, he'd be walking along talking to the disciples and they wouldn't even know who he was until he let them see who he was. So he might be here already. You know, we had that big constellation in August. Yeah, we had that big constellation in August, you know, that described in Revelation 12 or 21 or something like that. And so he might be here just lining up his ducks, and then at some point he'll let us all see him. I like to think in those terms. I don't want it to be too far away because there's so many sciences ready to pop. And one of them that I've been following pretty closely and I cover once in a while on my show is that we have been discovered by interstellar civilizations that are visiting us. And I've never met one, but I've been listening to people who have, and some are liars. Some are big-time liars. Our government knows all this stuff, and they're lying to us big time, and they're trying to set it up so that we feel threatened and that we'll be ready to go to war with them, because that's the next big hoax, so that they can get us to all jump behind, oh, New World Order, protect us, we'll bow to the world government if you just protect us from these aliens, when in fact the people who have actually met them said, no, they don't need to attack the Earth. They have the whole universe. They don't need anything that we have. You know, the whole universe full of minerals or whatever, they're not coming here to attack us. They're coming here because they're our cosmic brothers. And this is a big secret. And, I mean, the government's been actually releasing on mainstream media, Pentagon video of UFOs and stuff. And it's like they're slowly warming up to the big disclosure, because we've actually captured and reverse engineered some of that technology. And most UFOs in the sky are actually our own military and our own secret space program and stuff like that. But there are a few that are real, unexplainable, not from Earth people. And so I don't know. So we're getting sidetracked, but there are a lot of government cover-ups, and I think the vaccine science fraud is ready to pop because people are not shutting up. Their kid dies and they just tell the world, you know, and so pretty soon the whole world hears it. You know, you know where I'm going. There's so many. Yeah, so I think this unfolding of truth all over the world, I think, is going to be part of the second coming of Christ. He's not going to put up with a world where lies happen anymore. He's got all the power, and he's vanquishing lies as we watch. You know. Not just our shows, but, you know, Suzanne Humphreys and the Vax videos and the documentaries and the, you know, just the fact that we can download the package inserts. I don't know why they give us those package inserts to download. Are they legally required to? That we can actually read them? I don't know. We can see all this horrible stuff. And then I think, well, they get a special thrill out of telling us the evil they're going to do to us before they do it, because they thrive on fear.
Right.
You know.
Oh yeah.
Like this guy, why if he really is it wants to go out and execute, you know, Dr. Humphreys, then why does he tell her? Why didn't he just do it? Because he's trying to thrive on her fear. And she's like, I'm not afraid. I'm just going to go do my thing. And you might make me angry. Yes, I'm pissed off, but I'm going to keep doing my thing. So maybe that's where her flushed face came from, because she was. I don't blame her. I'd be angry. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd be pissed. I mean, I wouldn't want anybody talking to me like that. No, I agree with you. I wouldn't want anybody talking to me like that. That's ridiculous. People are insane, though, and whoever that person is, they really need to get some help. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I don't understand the police ignoring her.
Cute. That's one of the things that kind of trip me out is how can they just ignore that? That doesn't make any sense. How are they allowed to just ignore it?
I don't know. Well, unless they figure, we don't have the tools to track this down, because she said the guy he did something to hide his location.
His server.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's smart. Yeah, but then who would be over there flying a drone the very next day? How ridiculous is that? You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a neighbor. I hope she reported that too, as a separate incident.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm like, yeah, I hope so too. I hope they went back and said something. I mean, it's crazy.
Throw a net over it and try to find its radio source.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's supposedly illegal to tamper with somebody else's drone. I think no, not if it's on my property. I'm throwing a net over it. Forget it.
I don't. It's a trip. If it came over on your property and somebody and you got a threat the day before, to me that means that's yours.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That drone now belongs to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It no longer belongs to you when that's the case.
Yeah, because somebody could be, they could load it up with little weapons or, dropping poison for your dog as a threat to you and anything like that. I don't know. It's an insane world, and it can't go on like this. Jesus has to come back. He has to, because the world can't go on like this.
No, I keep thinking about that. Like, I look around me and I think about how much of the world is in turmoil right now. How many things are going on that are just crazy, I mean, everywhere. And then you look at America and you got all this Antifa crap. You got what happened in Las Vegas. That's clearly bull crap. And yes, people got hurt, but not the same way the news told people they got hurt. I just don't buy it for 5 seconds. I just don't. There's too many inconsistencies and too many things that were evident to a lot of the people who were there. And, that seems to be the way a lot of this stuff
and
goes.
they're dropping too, like the holistic doctors. These people are all dying. The people that have been speaking out, well, I saw this and I saw that, and that doesn't jibe, and poof, they're dead.
I bought this book. I got to tell you about this because you probably appreciate hearing about this. I bought this book for my kids for Christmas, and not knowing what it was. I guess I should have. It had a little bird on the front with a heart and stuff, and it said it was a book for hope, love, and hugs, and all this stuff. So I thought it was some kind of sweet book, right? And I get home, and I I'll read anything before I read it to my kids. I read it myself. And I start reading this book to myself, and the more I read, the weirder this thing gets. And it's like, what is this book about? Like, this is a weird, weird book. And finally I get to the end, and it was for the dedication to Sandy Hook and the families from Sandy Hook. And it made sense that it was so odd because it was a book like nothing I would have ever seen from anything else. It was just like, it was not normal in any way. And the way it talked about grieving, the way it talked about just so many things. It was just such an odd book. I'm going to have to try to find the title of that and send it to you. And because honestly, the book creeped me out so much I threw it away. And
you didn't even get your money
I remember
back.
I didn't even want to deal with it anymore. It just was a creepy thing. I just threw it away. I usually would get my money back on certain things. I don't know. I didn't even want to deal with it anymore. That one just made me feel so creeped out to my very core. I just put it in the garbage can and let it go out with the trash.
Is this called An Unseen Angel? I'm looking up books on Sandy Hook and grieving. And,
okay, let me look it up. Let me look online real quick, and I'll tell you if that's what I had. It had a little bluebird on it. I don't know. It said like hope and love and no, that's not it. I can see that one. That's not it. It was a book for smaller kids. Let me see. It was so weird. I don't know. I'll keep looking, but it was a strange book, and I thought, wow, this is pretty strange. I wasn't expecting it. Here it is. It's called, I found it, Love, Hugs, and Hope. When Scary Things Happen. That's the name of the book. So I thought it was like, okay, like my kids are vaccinated or whatever. Like I thought it was just like a generic, like if you have a rough time in life, here's this book of love, hugs, and hope, right? No.
Yeah.
It was just a weird book. It was creepy, and the way that they don't say to like turn to your parent. They don't say, like the way that the whole book is worded, it almost makes you feel like I don't know, You just have to read it for yourself. I don't even know how to explain it. It's
Yeah.
a very weird book. I had to throw it away. It wasn't for my household. I felt like the devil was in that book. I ain't a weird person, but I'm telling you, that would just made me feel eerie inside. It's like, I don't want this in my house. I've seen way too much about Sandy Hook.
Preview thing. It says,
okay.
Grown-ups are hard to protect you from harm, but I guess the next page would say something like, oh, but they don't always succeed or something. Oh, but they may even get hurt themselves. Yeah, so don't turn to your grown-ups. There's so many agendas out there trying to get you to ignore your fear and just let whatever's there get you. I can't figure out how else this book would go if that's not it. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, it's a very strange book. Like, it made me feel eerie, and at first, and I didn't know what it was about when I did my first read through of it. So I was like, I didn't know until I got to the very end, and it said something about the dedication to the Sandy Hook thing, and had this weird little picture with an angel and this and that. And so for me, it was just like, man, this is such a weird book. What the heck is this about? Like, why are these kids grieving, and what is happening here? And then, but it was like not normal. It was like you felt like such a weird. I don't know how to explain it, because
like
if it was normal, it wouldn't give me the heebie-jeebies.
Expect to be a victim kind of thing?
Yeah, it was almost like it was telling you. Yeah, thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. It had too much. There you go. That's exactly what I'm trying to say, and I can't ever get my thoughts together. But yeah, exactly like that. Exactly. It's like, you see what could be coming your way, and you think about what they can do, and how, wow, look, here, we'll just write a book about it and make this be more normal, just like autism gets normalized and everything else gets normalized. We just had another school shooting, from what I understand, in Ellis, Texas.
Oh. Wow. Today?
Yeah. Today or yesterday. I just saw the news about it this morning, right before I came on the air. And just mind-blowing. It's really mind-blowing.
You know that kid is on some kind of psychotropic drugs, because that's when they snap, is when they're on those drugs. Everything, all the way back from Columbine, all of the mass shootings have all been somebody that's on psychiatric drugs, or just recently off it, because they have this ricochet effect when they try to withdraw from the drug.
Yeah, it's horrible. I know a lot of people who have had to come off of them who say it's just been insane.
Man.
Your body goes through such a withdrawal period.
I think there's going to be a lot of news coming out about this pedogate stuff. And I think there's an entire culture. And I think that's why the sex ed has gotten so bad in the schools, that they're selling transgenderism to kindergartners and trying to not age appropriate stuff. I think now it's like grooming, so that when some of those kids get sucked into the CPS system, that some of them will be ready to be sold into the child slavery stuff. And I think so that's another issue that I follow. I don't talk about it a lot on my show because it's not scientist related, but I think it's grooming. This kind of stuff where if you're fearful, ignore your fear and just let it happen, kind of thing. I think it's all related. I think it's all related, and it's a bigger evil. The world is eviler than I ever thought. And I don't have grandkids yet, but dang it, that's why I'm out there talking to try to make something better, particularly the vaccine industry, before I ever have grandkids.
That's right. That's right. I don't have any grandkids either, but I have children, and it's a very scary world. And I think about, this is what I'm happy about. We do have a lot of these mothers out here. I'm seeing babies born, a couple babies a week I'm seeing born, who are not being vaccinated. So we do have that other part of this generation that's coming up that is going to be able to help keep things going and keep the truth going, and hopefully we'll have some of those people who want to be the professionals who help the injured, because they already understand what that's about by being raised in a household and things like that, where they understand what these people are going through. My teenager talks about working with autistic people. Oh, I know. We'll be fighting for a long time, friend.
That the guilt is so overwhelming, they don't want to believe it happened. Because I have a friend who just had a grandbaby, and the first week, just nonstop seizures. I'm like, did that baby seize before it was born? And I was like in tears. She's describing classic vaccine injury to me, and And like, would you tell them that it might have been the vaccine and not to get any more till they know whether it was or not? And she would not pass that information along. So I found them on Facebook, and I sent them a bunch of stuff, and they didn't answer me. So I was like, okay, I gave it to you. If you chose not to answer me, that's up to you. But
I go through that sometimes too.
So sad. So sad.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? They'll come back one day. I've had people who've come back to me and they're like, oh my goodness, Lynette, I should have listened to you. My child is now damaged. What do I do? How do I start recovering? How do I detox? You know, there's
I'm
just
looking
so
at
many.
The clock and we're running
you know,
out.
Yes, we are going at 20 seconds, guys, so I am going to say goodbye for the week. You were listening to Forsaken Generation. I am your host, Lynette Marie Barron, and this was my buddy Suzanne, host of The Mad Scientist. What time is your show?
Tuesdays and Fridays at 3 o'clock Pacific time.
All right, y'all can listen to her show, and that is at freedomizerradio.com. You can hit listen live. That's the easiest way to find us. And thank you guys for listening this week. Y'all have a great Monday.